Noon. It's 4:16 p.m. And I will tell you right now, I feel like I'm still coming off the high of the Mandy's on Saturday night.
The high.
Yeah,
I'm still tired, Cap.
Yeah, I'm feeling hungover.
Yeah.
And I don't mean like drunk hungover. I just mean like it was a late night.
You do?
Well, there's no doubt. There's no doubt that I mean, listen, the three of us, I realize this. George bailed. George got out of there as fast as he possibly could.
George got young kids.
Well, he had to deal with the valet people. Okay.
I mean, that line was long.
Hey, we still had to deal with the valet people at about
2:30.
Yeah,
like 2:30.
Yeah, when we were trying to go to Denny's.
But here's way longer in
no, where you
when I was leaving.
It was
because everybody was leaving.
There was only one person when we were there.
Yeah, but I realized that George left, Mason left, Sliwa left, Travis left.
Sliwa stayed for a long time. Sliwa
did?
stayed the longest.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was there until like 2.
At the bar?
Yeah.
He was there he couldn't get an Uber.
He was there until almost the last call, at least.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, he was there till last call.
Well,
You
last
were
call at,
there.
like 1:30.
I saw you. I saw the three of us, Chris, Bergman, and I thought to myself, boy, everybody else just took off.
Can't
and
be.
now I realize 4 o'clock in the afternoon on Tuesday, I'm like, why am I still feeling like this? Because it was a late night, yeah.
How much did you drink that you were right next to Slee?
I don't remember Slee being next to me.
Yeah,
he was there.
Michelle was sitting down with M, now that I can't say her name.
Mm-hmm.
And you were like right there where Rachel was a little more down the bar, but you were right next to Slee.
Did I have my hands like wrapped around his neck? Was I
No,
like headlocking him? Was I giving him like a Sedano kiss on the bald head?
No.
Oh.
You
We weren't
creepy.
embracing. We weren't
No.
embracing. Okay.
No.
I don't know why.
Well, clearly you weren't embracing if you didn't even remember he was there.
I swear to you, I don't, man. There's some weird things that happened on Saturday night that my mind doesn't remember a few things from that night. Like yesterday, I couldn't remember who gave the Show of the Year award. I just couldn't remember.
Right,
The dude
it was
from
the
Michelob
Ultra guy.
Right.
Yeah.
So, listen, George, you did the smart thing. You got out of there. You got home. You slept in your own bed. You woke up Sunday morning. You know, you took your kid to Tropicana, the whole deal.
I did take him to Tropicana. I did.
See?
I went down to Downey.
See, I follow you on social media, kid. I'm keeping my eye on you.
Yeah.
So that's the deal. I think there is a real hangover. When we got in the car yesterday to start driving south to Anaheim to drop Chris off, my man fell asleep, dude. I was talking to myself.
I had a good dinner with Bergman.
How'd that go?
Oh, yeah. How did that go? We didn't hear about that.
It was good.
Good.
Where'd you guys go?
We just went to Tom's.
Okay.
Right here.
Oh, yeah, because you had to watch the game.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting question for you about having dinner with Bergman.
Mm-hmm.
I see you as the kind of guy that goes, no, I got this.
He insisted.
Okay. Interesting.
Good for Greg.
I was going to pay
Okay. Very good.
because I grabbed the bill and immediately he snatched it out of my hand.
He said, no, sir.
Yeah.
I got this.
Yeah. He's
Okay.
a big-time manager now.
Greg's
I
a
know.
good guy.
Well, I know. And the reason I asked George is because I had a similar experience with him last week. You know,
But
where
you
he-
went to like a fancier place than Tom's. You guys
We
went
went
to like some sushi joint,
We did.
which
We
is
did.
way more expensive than what we did. We just
Right.
had a beer and a sandwich, or he had
Right.
tacos and I had a sandwich.
I know.
That's
And
nice.
He and I kept ordering hand rolls. I mean, I don't know what the bill was, but you know,
But
I
you
went to
didn't pay.
I went to grab for it, and then he was like, "No, I got it." And then I was like, "No, I
Our
got
bill
it."
was definitely way cheaper than yours.
And he was like, "No, I got this, man. Come on, this is on me. This is on me." He's like, "No, you came to my neighborhood. You came all the way up here. I got it." I'm like, "No. Let me get it." He wouldn't let me have it.
But you didn't really want it.
Well, no, he then gave it to me. He's like, all right, if you insist, here, go ahead. And then I was like, oh, wait, I forgot my wallet. I think I left it at the...
Did you really say that?
I think I left it at the radio station or something, you know?
You guys had good meetings with Greg. I met him at 7:30 in the morning.
Oh, really?
Well, he
that's
knows I
early.
wouldn't meet him at 7:30 in the morning, so there's that
Super
part of the
early.
equation too.
I
so.
was like,
He's like, no, we're on
Dang.
Sedano time.
Yeah.
Well, he actually suggested, why don't we do it after one of your shows one day? And I said, well, let's just do it on Monday because, there's a game. We can watch the first half there, and then we can go home.
And did
Me
you
and
teach him
Greg-
how to watch a game? Did you
He
explain
knows how to watch a
basketball?
game.
He did?
He knows.
You didn't have a telestrator in front of you?
There
or
was
like
no
a-
need. Actually, I loved it because he could keep up.
Okay.
Ooh,
All right.
Burn, Kevy, burn.
No, Burn. I've not watched a game with George, and George doesn't know that. Maybe he can't keep up.
Oh, maybe. You're right, Cappy.
See?
Why don't you come to Summer League?
When is this Summer League? Let me hear when Summer League is.
July 7th through the 17th. But I won't
Now-
be there for the entirety of it. I'm going to be there the first weekend, and maybe I think they're going to have me come back to do the championship game.
All right, now July 7th, which is a Friday.
I will
is-
also be there that weekend.
You're going? Okay,
But wait,
great.
are you going to be there on that Friday?
Yeah, I'm going to see Garth Brooks.
The
I had
first
this planned
Friday.
for a while ago. Yeah.
The first Friday. Well, I want to be there the first Friday because I want to see. I've already seen Scoot Henderson. I called one of his G League games, but I want to see Victor up close.
Yep.
So you guys are not going to be at the ESPN LA All-Star Friday night softball game.
I just told you I'm going to be working at Summer League.
I heard you. Now, Lindsay, are you also not coming?
That is correct.
You're out on the softball game.
I made these plans literally 3 months ago.
Okay.
4 months ago.
All right.
Cappy, it's okay. You're going to hold it down.
I'm going to hold it down as
By the
right.
way, the
And I'll be
reality
there.
is, at least when it comes to for me at events for the next, I mean, that's it. It was the Mandy's, as you see here. That's all, folks. All right?
That's it, huh?
Sure.
That's it. That's all you get, huh?
That's all you get.
That's all you get.
folks.
You
That's
get
a
me
good
for the
shirt.
Mandy's, and
This
you
is
don't get
the
me for
same
the
shirt.
softball game.
By the way, this is the exact. I bought this a long time ago, and it's actually I've only worn it one other time. I bought this shirt because it was the shirt AD was wearing at his last game in New Orleans on the bench.
That's all,
That's
folks.
pretty funny.
That
Yeah.
is funny.
Yeah, and I went online to find it, and I found where I could get it, and I went to the mall and bought it.
Now, hopefully, George, you and I are not so old that we get what "that's all, folks" means.
Yeah.
Lindsay and
yes,
Laura.
it's from Looney Tunes.
Yes.
Okay,
See?
didn't know. Well, I didn't know. Listen, there's a
Yeah.
major
Yeah.
generation gap here.
Yeah.
mean-
So Cappy, so Summer League is July 7th. So Victor and Scooter are probably going to play against each other on that day. And then Saturday is probably going to be another big day. And on Saturday, I'm also going to go, after I'm done with the games, I'm going to go over and watch UFC 290.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's at T-Mobile.
It's a big
Who's
one.
the
yeah,
who's the main event?
Volkanovski is taking on Rodriguez. So,
Okay.
from La Raza against Australia. Mm-hmm.
All right, so
Big
wait a second.
fight.
So July 7th is the softball game. It's the next chance for us and all the 710 listeners and everybody who didn't get a chance to go to the Mandy's. It's the next chance for everybody to get together and have a whole bunch of fun.
Yeah.
You're
Cappy-
out. You're going to Vegas.
Yes, I'm going to Vegas. I'll
Baseball-
be at Summer League and UFC. And
Okay.
you see, this is the type of thing I did get an invite to the ESPN suite at the fight. So this is like your kind of thing.
Yeah. I know. I like the sweet life. There's no doubt
That's
about
why.
it.
You could
Yeah.
take me in his place. Just
Yeah,
saying.
take Lindsay baseball.
I'm going to be there anyway.
I can. Maybe I can ask. Yes.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
When I talk to one of the powers that be at UFC.
It'd be a
at
shame if
ESPN.
you were walking into the suite and Lindsay was outside the suite and you're like, all right, see ya. And then you're like, she's standing outside. That'd be kind of a jerk move. Go in, get somebody's wristband, come out, give it to her, and get her in.
Don't be so. You don't do things like that. In a
I could
company
just literally
suite.
just
Yeah.
ask for another ticket if
Oh,
I mean
there
I
you
haven't.
go.
I just texted with someone yesterday because the person who runs UFC at ESPN texted me and said, "Oh, I appreciate on your FaceTime when you won Around the Horn that you shouted out Amanda Nunes in her retirement." And I explained to him, and we also did the Conor McGregor story where he knocked out the Heat mascot and sent the poor guy to the hospital. He said, "No, I saw it." And I said, "By the way, are you going to be at UFC 290?" He's like, "Yeah." I said, "I want to be at Summer League." He's like, "Oh, you got to come to the fight." And I said, "Okay, cool. I'll let you know as soon as I know my game schedule if it doesn't coincide," which I would imagine it won't. I could probably tell them to let me off for the last game so I can just go across the street and watch the fight.
All I know is this. July 7th, I will be in softball uniform. And by the way, I'll make a commitment to everybody
Don't
right
get
now.
your shin blasted again.
I'm going to make a commitment to everybody right now. I will be practicing.
Oh, Jesus. This is
I
where
will be
you get
going.
hurt.
I will be going to batting cages.
Uh-oh.
I will surpass.
Watch your thumbs.
I will surpass Kirk Morrison's 3 home runs this
Never.
year. That can happen.
Wait.
You never know. He
Did
might
you
get
hit it all last year?
Yeah, I got on, but I didn't have a home run.
Yeah, but why do you need to hit a home run? You're not as strong as Kirk Morrison.
Right, but it's not that hard to hit a home
And you
run
don't,
there.
you're not as strong as Beto probably either, to be honest with you, at this stage. And he's also like Beto plays softball, so
Okay,
like
well,
you don't
that's
do
what-
any of those
right,
things.
I don't play softball. B, I think I'm stronger. And C, it's not that far to hit a home run in softball.
You think you're stronger than Beto?
That's right. What can I do to prove that, George? Tell me.
Sus.
Tell me what I can do to prove
I don't
it.
know. Beto's supposed to come on today, right?
Should I
Yeah, we're
squat
gonna call
500
him at
pounds? Should I bench
5:45.
press 350 pounds for you? Is that what I should do?
5:45. Beto's coming on, so we can ask him then. You can figure it out between yourselves.
I'm
Can't wait
glad
to hear
Beto's
that
coming on.
answer.
I'm glad Beto's coming on because I'll tell you something right now.
What's that?
Yesterday, you and I had very limited time on the air because we were handing off to Game 5 of the NBA title,
Right.
right? We know what happened. But we talked all about Mandy's reaction. something happened where Beto left the Mandy's on Saturday.
Right, he had to go to a fight.
Right, flew to Miami.
Right, for the Mayweather-Gotti fight.
Right, that none of us even knew was happening.
Well, that's not true. I knew.
We knew.
Okay,
Yeah,
sure.
we knew.
Right, of course you all did. Yeah,
we
right,
did know.
Of course, yeah. Because Beto probably was like, I got to go to this fight. Anyway, of an exhibition fight of 8 rounds at 1 minute
Just
per round.
because you're not informed doesn't mean the rest of us aren't, okay?
Okay, fair enough.
Cap, we did talk about it on the show.
Okay, I remember vividly. Anyway,
Lies.
I don't. Something goes down at this fight, and the only thing I'm getting from it is from Beto and his social media. And, the videos of this explosion in the ring afterwards. And I'm like, yo, Beto's in the middle of all of this. Today we got a full show. Can we hear what happened? So I'm glad Beto's coming on today. And then we can discuss bench pressing and squatting to determine who is the strongest man on 710.
By the way, someone in the Sedano Kap Circle of Trust tweeted this because I think it was Beto. Oh, Beto and Whittier says you should have had some of these Z-Biotics pre-alcohol probiotic drinks. Mm-hmm. You have
Sounds
some
like
of
a good
those,
idea.
and then it helps with the potential hangover stuff for the next day.
Laura,
You have to have them before, though.
I know, but Laura, had I been a real man on Saturday night and had you bring me back some In-N-Out, remember I called out the diet card at like 1:30 in the morning.
I'm
hey,
not mad at that. You know your limit.
I know, but had I had the burger, I probably would be feeling better now, 36, 48 hours after the fact.
I mean, to be fair, all of us didn't really eat. At least I know I didn't eat that much.
I threw down like 4 of those sliders in the back.
I did not
those
eat
sliders were
anything
good.
whatsoever.
Yeah,
the whole
I threw
time.
like 1 down first, and then after I had the first tequila mandala, like before the show even started, on like a fairly empty stomach, I was like, I need to house a few more burgers.
I
Dude,
think
I was
that's
surprised.
What it was.
I was surprised to
Really?
watch you put them down like that, George. You were putting them down with both pieces of bread, like you weren't dismantling the.
No, the
burger.
bread is necessary to, you
Yeah.
need the bread to then not do. Because Dr. Clapper once told me that.
How are you?
How are you? The key to not getting hungover is carbs.
That is very true. I can't do carbs like that, and I know Lindsay's keto, so she doesn't. But when I don't want to get drunk, we snack on stuff. Like we drink
Yeah,
a little snack.
he told me that
drink
it's
a
something
little
about
snack.
the liver and carbs and processing and blah,
Yep.
blah, blah. And I don't remember the specifics, but it was that.
Yep.
But those Z-Biotics, Cappy, you should have taken them before, like Beto and Whittier. All right, coming up next, Cappy, we can get more into this stuff. And apparently Beto is tweeting now. Apparently he says he's going to skip the softball game since he didn't win a Mandy.
I think that's actually somewhat. I honestly don't think that's such a bad idea.
All right, coming up
Beto.
next, let's get into what happened yesterday a little bit. Let's also get into, and no Christopher today, okay? Let's also get into some of this Jokic stuff that I actually want to go into further detail because between Jokic and Stan Kroenke, I thought the postgame was high comedy.
Dude, way more entertaining than the actual game itself.
Oh,
way
I
more.
disagree. It was a 5-point game. Like,
Way
literally
more.
came down to the wire.
No,
Like,
exciting game. Entertaining
it
post
peaked-
game.
It peaked at like 19 or 20 million people.
Listen, all I'm saying is I found the post game to be very, very
Well, of
entertaining.
course you did.
Yes,
Because, you're you.
that's right.
That's
That's why I stuck around to watch it.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get into some of that coming up, including learning how to use a microphone. We could teach some people. Let's do that next.
All right, before we hit this break, SoCal's #1 casino continues the celebration of the GOAT. Now, when I say the GOAT, I think we all know who we're talking about here. 6 rings, 5-time MVP, the shrug, the flu game. There is only one MJ. Now, Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel is giving you the chance to walk on air with the ultimate prize package of up to $5. So we ran this promotion in May. We're continuing to run it through June. Your chance to win a PSA 10 MJ rookie card, iconic sneakers. Oh, George, wait till you see the new Air Jordans I just got today. And plus, you can get all this free play at Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel. Visit Yamava.com for details. I like to spell it for you because it's Y-A-A-M-A-V-A. There's a lot of A's. You got to buy vowels. Y-A-A-M-A-V-A. Yamava.com for details. You got to be 21. You know this. We want you to gamble responsibly, but you are a winner at Yamava.
Travis and Sliwa, right after Key, Jay, and Max.
Coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
One of the most iconic stadiums in the world.
Oh, I'm buying a pack of these Z-Biotics, man.
You are they? Is it a liquid? Is it a?
Yeah, it's like a drink. It's like a little shot drink.
Just a little shot.
Do you want to know how it works?
Tell me.
Z-Biotics is designed to, and we're not getting paid to say any of this. I'm just saying, we should though, maybe eventually.
Well, Matt
Jason
Burke
Roberts
right now
is listening.
Oh, dude, Matt Burke is in the back right now. He wrote all this down. Right now, Matt Burke is all over this.
Z-Biotics is designed to replicate the natural process of your liver, but to do it in your gut. We took normal probiotic bacteria you already eat every day. We bioengineered it to produce the same type of enzyme your liver already produces. That enzyme breaks down acetaldehyde, an unwanted byproduct of alcohol that forms in your gut when you drink. Your liver does not have access to your gut, but by putting Z-Biotics directly into your gut, the goal is to augment your body's natural ability to digest acetaldehyde while you drink and while you sleep, helping you make the most of the next day. Just remember, Z-Biotics does not affect intoxication or make alcohol safer to drink, so always drink responsibly. And you're supposed to drink it, you have to drink it somewhere either before your first drink, anywhere between 0 and 120 minutes.
Well, I'm seeing everybody in the circle of trust explaining to me that Alan Sliwa was, in fact, at the after party at the bar at Commerce Casino, not far away from me. And they're like, how did you not know he was there? I'm like, I don't know. I could see Lindsay. I could see Laura. I can see Morales. I can see Bergman. I just can't see Sliwa anywhere around.
Yeah.
I mean, even right now, I'm trying to remember it all. Maybe I need some of this product.
Yeah, you do.
So I'm going to buy a pack of these Z-Biotics.
You know what my hangover therapy really is?
Yeah.
And I did it on Sunday night. I got home. This is Sunday night. I went on like a 6-mile walk just trying to burn out the booze. And then Sunday night I got on the Peloton for an hour with a big old sweatshirt on and just a puddle of sweat at the end. And then Monday morning, like 6 a.m., I woke up and got another hour on the Peloton. So I was trying to go like double sweat to get all the booze out.
Yeah.
And here we are, Tuesday afternoon, and I'm telling you about the Mandy's hangover.
Yeah. What an unfortunate moment you found yourself in.
Big time.
All right, real quick. So, Lindsay, do we have the audio of all this stuff?
Sure do.
All right. Now, since the Jokic stuff was played during crosstalk, can we start with Stan Kroenke?
Oh, my
Sure.
God. Oh, my God.
I don't know how many people were actually watching this, the post-game afterwards, but if not, you could find it on video online somewhere. So, Lisa Salters.
Number one on my rankings.
Number one on the Cappy sideline reporter rankings. And I would imagine stays number one with a bullet right now after what happened yesterday.
I mean, just tremendous professionalism by Lisa Salters handling this Stanley Kroenke post-game interview.
So, look, man, Stan Kroenke obviously, has brought a lot of championships to a lot of fans, but I don't think he understands how a microphone works. So,
The
Lisa
video or the audio does not do it justice. You need to watch the video.
No, you need to watch the video, but I'll just let you have the audio. So I'm just going to let you kind of imagine what I'm describing here. So Lisa Salters, I'm sure you guys have seen a million walk-off interviews or interviews at a sporting event where the sideline reporter is there, and she's got her mic, and she's talking to her mic, and then she puts out her microphone close to that person's face. And while she asks Stan Kroenke the questions about being a champion now, a champion owner in basketball for the first time after being a champion owner in other sports, he doesn't talk to the microphone. He starts talking into her ear. And I'm like, what are you doing? And it was so uncomfortable that, thank God, Tim Corrigan, who does a phenomenal job running the NBA broadcasts and producing the finals in the truck, just cut away from it. If you notice, the second...
Not that long.
Right.
I mean, we got plenty of it.
Right. He cut away from it because, but for the second question, he was just like, what do we... Like, if I was stunned. I was like, what is happening here? Like,
it is so weird because
you want to keep him on camera. He's the owner, right?
And Lisa actually takes the microphone
and brings it closer to her face.
It's kind of like she has the microphone in between almost her ear and Stan's mouth. I mean, he is legitimately like, imagine being in a super, super crowded bar and you can't hear anything.
Right.
And you're whispering to a waitress, I need a Tito's soda with a lime.
Right. That's exactly what it looked like.
Yeah.
So here's the audio of that exchange.
It means a lot to us to be able to get this done, and the fans, we couldn't have done it without them. So fantastic. Congratulations to coach, the players.
I mean, and then they cut away, right? They just, after he said that, they just cut away to like a shot of the crowd because they're like, this is weird. We probably shouldn't air this. Like, it just looks weird for everybody involved, you know?
Yeah. And I will say this, you got to give credit to a guy like Stan Kroenke. As creepy as that post-game interview looked on television, the truth of the matter is he is really, George, I can't think of like how you compare these guys necessarily, but if you just look at the resume of titles, Stan Kroenke is one of the best sports owners in American
there's
sports.
no question right now. He's won the Super Bowl,
right?
The Stanley Cup.
Yep.
He won those in the same year.
2022, right.
2021 season, right.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. And then now won the NBA Finals.
Right. And I love this part of it. Hey, Stan Kroenke is such an amazing owner. NFL, NHL, NBA, and then they throw this one in there for you. The Colorado Mammoth of the National Lacrosse League. You guys see that game? That was a pretty good game, huh?
Professional league.
Yeah. No, it is. It is, but none of us watch it. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody's watching the NLL, and I'm not knocking it because these guys are pros. They're the best of the best. They're just not comparable to the NFL, the NBA, the NHL. But it's pretty. And doesn't he own? Does he own Arsenal, the soccer team?
Yes, yeah. Although those fans are not thrilled with him.
I can just tell you though, man, Stan Kroenke, he is, one of the best owners. Because when you pump money into things, and you create championships, isn't that how an owner should be judged?
Sure. Yes, I would agree wholeheartedly.
So way to go, Stan. Weird interview.
Strange interview. Yes.
Right. Listen, Mr. Kroenke. With all due respect, okay? With all due respect, great owner, incredible businessman, all these things. Weird interview, that's all.
Yeah.
It was weird.
A little odd.
It's okay.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Nobody bats 1,000.
Right. And don't anybody get upset like, oh, man, don't say that. Hey, dude, everybody saw it. It was weird.
He just got caught up in the moment,
Yeah, he didn't realize.
What was going on.
Well, because it was loud around him.
Yeah.
So he's like.
He wanted her. I bet you he thought if I talk into the mic, she can't hear me. When he probably doesn't realize she's got an IFB here,
right.
Which means no matter what he says into that microphone, she's going to be able to hear just fine.
No problem. Now he can't hear because it's so loud. So I feel bad for him because we're kind of giving him a hard time.
But it was funny.
A little bit. But it was funny.
Yeah.
And it was creepy and it was uncomfortable.
I don't know about creepy, but it was funny and it was strange.
Funny.
Yes.
It's all good.
Yeah. But the Jokic stuff is great to me because I love that he is and I know he's new to a lot of people, okay? But this is exactly who he is. Like, he is absolutely the guy that wants no attention, no limelight, no nothing.
But he is new, George. You're right.
To a lot of people.
Right, because you all season long, I know we went back and forth. You told me over and over again, you've been to Denver.
These guys
you've done
are
their
good.
Games.
Right.
They're good, right. So, and
they're the best team in the West, I kept telling you.
And many of us, truth be told, okay, we kind of looked at them like, yeah, but they're just the Nuggets. Like they haven't been a championship team. They've never really gotten close to winning a championship with this group of guys. So
they did they got to the conference finals a couple years ago.
You understand what I'm saying?
Bubble.
There's but nobody looks at them as perennial championship contenders.
Yeah.
Okay.
But he was hilarious on a number of levels. So like we've already played the stuff about the parade. So Lindsay, Laura, play the one about Novak Djokovic, the other Joker, the tennis Joker. Someone asked if he had texted him. They're countrymen. They had started recently to develop a relationship with each other, and Joker had been talking a lot. Novak had been talking about Joker. Novak,
the tennis player, was talking a lot about the basketball player.
Novak had been talking about Nikola. Let's just do first names.
That's what I
and he had been talking a lot about him in his lead up to the French Open.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he had just won the French Open recently. So here's what he said about Novak and his text.
Congratulations. I'm going to see if he's testing me, no? I don't know. Mom,
How many texts you have?
A lot. I'm gonna turn off the phone.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's hilarious. Like, he's just like a regular person in a lot of ways.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing about getting home, like there's another soundbite, George, about him saying that he wants to get home because he's got a horse that's racing.
Yeah.
I got that. You want me to play that part?
Please.
Next week or two look like for you now? You got a parade coming up here on Thursday.
Yes.
How soon till you're back in Sombor?
I need to. On Sundays, I have my horse racing in my
Horse racing?
Horse racing?
I was going to get to that, the horse racing.
Maybe, I don't know how we're going to arrive. It's Thursday parade, Friday maybe.
Would you make it?
I don't know. I'm going to ask Josh to give me a plane.
Oh, I think he'll definitely let you get the team plane.
I think you deserve that.
You deserve a little bit more than that.
I did it on TV.
I
put him under the pressure.
Put him under pressure.
Yes, I did. I don't feel bad at all.
Yeah.
At least there's some personality there. I did it. I asked for a plane on TV.
Dude, he's legitimately funny when you talk to him. Like, he's actually really, really funny. He actually showed a lot of that personality in the post games. You were watching probably the Lakers post game, but if I was there for those games, and and he said like a lot of funny stuff. Ramona and I remember Ramona came on and we talked about it, about how like he's sneaky funny. So I actually thought the funniest thing he said was when Malika Andrews sat down with him one-on-one and asked him about what it was like now winning a championship after being the lowest draft pick to win the Finals MVP. He was the 41st pick in the second overall, second round pick.
Wow.
And here's what he said.
You were the 41st pick in the draft. A Taco Bell commercial was running when your pick was announced. What do you think of that now?
They believe in the fat boy, and it seems like it worked out. Yeah, don't bet against the fat boy.
There you go. Don't bet against the fat boy.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
Yeah.
Hey,
I feel like that's a good drop for us, actually.
It is.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
And I will be using it quite often.
Yeah. So, Cappy, I think that a lot of people are learning about him.
I think that's exactly right.
And he is, and everybody learned. And I think that most people now realize not only is he an incredible basketball player, but he's fairly normal and human.
He's an amazing player who doesn't quite look like the other guys that are amazing players that play his position.
Yeah.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
Right.
And he can do so many things. So from a basketball perspective, I think a lot of people zoned in on him now, and they have a better appreciation. I know I certainly do. But the other part of it is his personality. Very, very likable character.
Yeah. All right, coming up next, I was listening to Travis and Sliwa driving around this morning. And Travis went hard on Jokic in one particular sense. Not that he wasn't congratulatory and marveling at his skills. He just wanted people to pump the brakes on something. So we'll tell you what that's all about, because I disagree with him for a certain reason, okay? And I'll tell you what that's all about coming up in a second. Stick around. We're back in 2 minutes.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
Stop
Yeah.
what you're doing. Because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to. I look funny. But, yo, I'm making money, see? By the way, if you have Sirius XM, they are doing a Tupac channel.
I've heard that.
Coming
Heard
up
the
here
commercials.
for Black Music Month. And it's going to be worth... this reminded me because Tupac obviously was part of the Digital Underground initially. And it's worth listening to. I'm a big Tupac guy. I watched the Tupac documentaries. I've seen Resurrection. I saw the Hulu one recently, so I'm a big Tupac guy. But, yeah. So, and I love Digital Underground, too. They're fun. So.
Well, I got to tell you something, George. Due to the conversation that happened in the previous segment, where you discussed not being able to make it to the softball game this summer because of Summer League, and then the whole UFC fight thing, my phone is now buzzing with people that are asking me, and there's multiple people here. I'm like, I don't want to say millions, but a lot, asking me if they can take your spot in the ESPN softball game. And I said, listen, I don't really control this stuff.
I don't control it either.
You know, I don't know if I can just say George is going to Summer League and Lindsay's going to Garth Brooks. I don't know if I can just add roster.
No.
I'm not sure.
You can't. Don't get any ideas. We don't need any more headaches.
You're not a general manager.
Right, and as much as I was doing the ticket middlemanning this past weekend for people that needed tickets to the Mandy's,
yeah,
I can't. I don't know if I
horribly.
You don't think I did a good job, Laura? Really?
Laura did a good job.
Well, she was smarter than me. She just gave it all to Joseph and said, "Here, do this." Me, I'm actually trying to physically move tickets from one guy to another guy, like doing it myself, like a schmuck.
Yeah.
Anyway. I don't know that I can change. I don't know that I can add team members to the roster. Is all I'm saying, everybody. So for everybody that's asking me, can I take Sedano's spot? Can I take Lindsay Baseball's spot? I can't just add people to the roster.
Yeah. So Cappy, Stan Kroenke, his real estate group is taking over a new project in your neck of the woods in South LA. I saw that.
Yep. Hey, listen, I'll tell you this is what I was saying about Stan Kroenke earlier. You know, you talk about a guy who is a great sports owner. And a guy who has somebody who's using his stadium that he doesn't really want in that stadium. And so, wait a second. You guys left San Diego to come up here to L.A., and I don't really want you in my stadium, but you left behind this fertile environment? I'll just go down there, and I'll take over down there, too.
Well, I mean, he can't buy the teams there, but he can build the stuff with his real estate.
There are no teams, but what he can do...
But he can't be part of like an ownership group there.
No, but what he can do is Stan Kroenke has the money and the juice to build a world-class facility.
Sure.
And once it's built and it's occupied 200-plus nights a year with shows and concerts and everything else, and then when there's an NHL team or an NBA team that maybe one day is looking, hey, at least you got the building. Now
Listen,
you're in the conversation.
The Clippers should. I mean, they just build their own arena, so they're not. But in theory, that would have made a lot of sense. Him and Ballmer should have teamed up a long time ago.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have gone back to their roots. The San Diego Clippers makes a lot more sense. And I mean that just from the name's perspective.
Yeah. I mean, listen, I don't think that that just because Stan Kroenke is going to build a new...
Kawhi would have loved it, I'm sure, too.
I'm sure. But just because he's building a new state-of-the-art arena in San Diego doesn't necessarily mean there's an NHL or an NBA team.
No,
but if you're a guy who owns an NHL and an NBA team and now you own an arena in an untapped territory, now you go to your partners and you go, well, why don't we move in here? Because I own the building.
Right. All right, so Travis today...
Tell me.
Everybody's talking about, so if you listen to all these shows today, I was listening to KJM this morning, to Keyshawn, J. Will, and Max, and they were talking about where does Nikola Jokic rank, like all time now, after, he's two-time MVP, right? He's got a championship now. He was the finals MVP.
They're having this discussion, huh? The historical.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's doing stuff that, is unprecedented in a lot of ways.
I mean, listen, George, I don't know if you watched First Take It All this morning.
I did not, actually.
But Chris Russo had the audacity to talk about Jokic from a historical perspective. Where does he rank amongst all-time great big men? And J.J. Redick almost blew his lid. Like, how dare you, the day after they win the championship, have a discussion about where he is in the history of the game? You're bringing up these random guys from the 80s. He's like, why do you do this to this guy? Like, let him have his day. Give him his flowers.
Yeah, but I think he took more umbrage, I'm guessing, because Russo was ranking all these guys from, back in the day ahead of him, probably.
Of course, naturally.
Yeah, so, right, that was
what the old guy does, and it's what the young guy does.
Right. So, but Travis apparently took umbrage with this too because, like Max was saying that he may be top 15 all time. He's probably top 20 and certainly top 25. I would make the case that he's top 25 at this point, like ever.
Top 25 player ever?
Yeah. I would make that case. But then people started comparing him, like to other big men, right? Like Shaq and some of these other guys, Tim Duncan, et cetera, et cetera. So that's where Travis drew the line this morning. Travis was hot. Okay.
Why?
Now
What was
maybe
he so
not as
upset
hot,
about?
maybe not as hot as Chris Russo, but Travis was hot. I'll let you listen. Here's about 90 seconds of Travis this morning with Slee.
I don't like the discourse that comes up when you talk about one player relative to another player because invariably it turns into, well, that guy sucks. And that's not what I'm about to say. Nobody that I'm
So
about
who
to talk about
sucks?
sucks. Jokic sucks in this world. Jokic just had a 3-year run. It's as good as you're going to find for an individual and a team. He won 2 regular season MVPs.
Could have easily won 3.
Could have easily won 3. Won a Finals MVP. Won a championship, and is, I think, universally looked at right now as we sit here on June 13th, 2023. Is the best basketball
Best
player in the world. He is, and there's no. I'm not going to argue that he is or he isn't. Can we slow down comparing him to Olajuwon and Shaq and all that kind of stuff? Can we just wait on that for half a second? He's awesome. He's super fun to watch. He's an incredible passer. He doesn't look like Giannis or one of these guys because he's a little. He just doesn't look like that. Let's just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Shaq, Hakeem, really? We're gonna do that after one? Don't you have to get more than one before we can throw Olajuwon and Shaq into the mix? It just seems
Who was already throwing it up there? All the networks.
Everyone is. Is he one of the great big men of all time? Easy. He's terrific, and he's on an unbelievable run. But
he's only 27,
really?
28.
Right. And I'm not saying he can't get there.
Sure.
That's not the point. But Shaq won 4 titles. Olajuwon won back-to-back titles and was just he is one of the great big men of all time, both skill and results and everything else. Tim Duncan, it's like, guys, please, not take some breaths. Can we wait on this for at least one more title to come along before we put him in that group?
Wow. So here's what I would say. Well, I totally understand his position, okay? And I get that. But part of this is he's doing stuff in a way that allows us to say, well, wait, their team is young. Their team is under contract for the most part. And he's playing at a level, like they just discussed, that we've rarely ever seen, if we've ever seen before in the last couple of years. And I would add this. He's the first player in NBA postseason history to lead his team in points, rebounds, and assists. Not LeBron, not Michael Jordan, not Kobe, not Shaq, not Olajuwon, not Duncan, none of those guys. Not Larry Bird, not Magic. Nikola Jokic.
Yeah.
Okay?
Well,
so he does deserve to be put in a conversation already that allows him to be amongst the upper echelon of the NBA.
But again, this is going to go back to something you said before, and I'm going to give you some credit here. It hurts me when I have to do this, but I will. You're right. Many people are just catching up to this. Like, seriously, how many times do you think the average Laker fan who watches 65 Laker games a year, how often do you think they see Jokic play?
Maybe
4?
2 or 3 times, max.
Right, because they play the Lakers, right? So many people, myself included, kind of guilty for not knowing how good he is every night. And George, the numbers tell you that what Shaq accomplished in the early part of 2000s versus what Jokic just accomplished, Jokic had a better playoff run than anything Shaq ever did statistically. But Shaq had won 2 or 3 titles by the time, as you're starting to do these comparisons. So I understand what Travis is saying. The other thing is this.
No, I get that part of it.
But here's the other thing. The position of center in the NBA has evolved. Okay?
By the way, let me add this. Do you know who Shaq's favorite big man in the NBA is right now? He said it. It's Nikola Jokic.
Because
he said you belong. He told him face to face on NBA TV after Game 1, I believe, or whatever of the West series. No, I'm sorry. Maybe it was the West. I don't remember. But he told them, because I saw the video. He said, "You're part of our fraternity," is what he said.
Well, the position of center, the way Jokic plays it, is vastly different than the way Shaq played it. So someone like Travis, myself, guys who grew up loving Shaq and watching him just physically
Right, but I'm
dominate
telling
everybody.
you, Shaq is telling you.
I understand. What I'm saying to you is that the position has changed. Jokic does things that Shaq could not do.
Correct.
And Shaq did things that Jokic couldn't do. But when you look at the numbers of what he accomplished in these playoffs, I mean, Shaq had numbers that they're pretty much the same in terms of scoring and rebounds, but it's the assist numbers that change things. It's the 3-point percentage that changes things.
And even the efficiency numbers. Like, his efficiency numbers were Shaq. His rebound numbers were Shaq. His assists were Magic. Okay? Again, nobody in the history of the sport has led their team in points, assists, and rebounds in a postseason. Never in the history of the sport.
I like the debate, though.
All right, coming up next, let's get into what this means now. Denver's win. You know, Michael Malone's talking dynasty, what it means for the teams in the West, like the Lakers, the Clippers, etc., the Warriors, what it means for the East now, and what they need to do, Miami, Boston, Philly, and Milwaukee. We'll get to all that stuff coming up in a second.
Get in the
ESPN. Sedano and Kap for your afternoon right now on 710 ESPN.
It's time for what you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Linz, what do you got?
Well, Wallet Hub just released its ranking of 2023's most fun states in America. The rankings are based on two key categories, entertainment and recreation, plus nightlife. Can you guess where California is ranked?
I'm going number one.
George, what do you think?
Number one state? I mean, I'm going to say California because there's a lot of different kind of things you can do, but I'm guessing it's not going to be California.
It is California.
Oh,
you guys
okay.
are right. Good job.
All right.
Because you said it was recreation, and what was the other one?
Yeah, so for entertainment and recreation, the factors included the number and variety of fun attractions like amusement parks, movie theaters, beaches, golf courses, national parks, ski resorts, and restaurants. And then the other part is nightlife. And they looked at the number of bars per capita, beer and wine prices, time of last call, movie cost, and the number of music festivals, performing arts venues, and casinos. Fitness and weather were also considered. Florida, Nevada, New York, and Illinois rounded out the top 5.
Illinois?
Yeah.
Huh.
I think they have a lot of casinos there. And plus, you know, Chicago's cool, right?
Yeah, Chicago.
Chicago's a great summer city, but man,
Yeah,
it is
that's
cold.
it.
I literally was there on Memorial Day weekend or in that same range in May, covering LeBron's first Eastern Conference Finals when he left Cleveland to go to the Heat. And I checked the Weather Channel app, and it's like, oh, it's going to be in the 60s. I'm like, I'll just take like a zip up or whatever just in case at night. I arrived, it was 30 degrees with flurries. In May, at the end of May.
Oh, George, that's nothing, man. I can remember way back when I signed as a free agent with the Chicago Bears. I thought there's no way I could ever really make this team because it's just too damn cold here for me to play. In June at like mini camps, it was freezing and raining and miserable. Now, summertime, July, August, September, it gets nice. I'm telling you, man, Chicago.
You didn't sign as a free agent with the Chicago Bears?
Okay, I just lied about that as well. Okay, just
think
for the
she
sake
meant it
of
as a
talking about
question.
weather.
No, he really is lying. You didn't play for the Bears.
Yeah, I thought you said you played for the Lions.
I had 3 contracts. Chargers,
Lions,
and Bears.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
But were you lying or not? Because we never know with you.
No, I'm
That's
saying
true.
that I was in mini camp with these
Literally,
guys.
everything you say, Cap, we have to question now.
I know.
Okay,
I mean,
if you feel that way, I mean, just Google it.
Let's see. Is it in your wiki?
You probably edited your own Wikipedia
Oh,
page.
God.
Well, you can tell if that's.
Now you would. Now, how would I know how to edit?
Well, you
Wikipedia?
don't.
That's true.
You
Yeah.
don't.
Chicago's only a city you go to in the summer.
Yeah, July, August.
Yeah.
Do I have a
Occasionally
wiki?
I'll be there.
Well, there's a
October.
Scott Kaplan biography, ESPN UK. Let me see.
Oh, really?
By the way, Mississippi.
Oh,
ranked
wait.
dead
Birthplace,
last.
Boca Raton, Florida? Is that you?
Wait, what are we talking about here?
ESPN UK
Uh-huh.
has a Scott Kaplan. It says unknown, and it says birthplace, Boca Raton, Florida.
Not my birthplace.
No. You're Coral Springs, no?
Well, I wasn't born there, but I lived there. Went to high school there.
Yeah.
I believe you, Cap. It's all good.
Yeah, that's all right. It didn't last long, unfortunately. You know, thought that was like my team. Thought that was my chance. You know, I was like, gosh, it's too damn cold here. Who am I kidding?
Oh,
Like, who
man.
am I really kidding? You know, I can't play in this weather.
There's a
Anyway.
Scott Kaplan who also has a trial of the century in Illinois.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I should
and,
call him.
And it's also a divorce. A divorce.
I should call him, see how he's doing. I should give him some brotherly love.
When I
some
Googled,
advice.
that's what came up.
Oy vey.
Yeah. So anyway.
Yeah,
I
cold-
did not know that
cold in
about the
Chicago.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, minicamp. Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah. So anyway, that is what you need to know, brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are.
Oh, I was so miserable back then. Ugh.
Did you have the man bun then?
I didn't. It was probably the man bun was on the verge of coming. You know, there was a rookie, a guy by the name of Rashaan Salam.
Oh, yeah, Colorado.
Yeah, Heisman Trophy winner. And, man, this guy, he was some kind of super world-class athlete.
He was.
And I was like this undrafted free agent kicker, and they had this fitness test. And you had to run like 20 100-yard sprints, and each one had to be under like 16 seconds or something like that. I'm like, how am I going to do this?
Right.
I can't do this.
Yeah.
So I just hung on to this guy for as long as I could because he was getting just baked the night before. So I'm like, maybe I can hang on to this guy.
You know, it's funny when you think about it. Not to go, I know we're going to talk basketball, but we can talk basketball the rest of the show. But if you really think about it, you actually brought up something that I think is fascinating. Rashaan Salam and Ricky Williams, differently, right? Like Ricky Williams had a lot more success in the NFL, but both guys' careers derailed by marijuana. Like, do you realize how ridiculous that sounds in 2023?
Yeah, I know. Like 10 years ago, 12 years ago, especially not in California, people are like, oh, my God, he's talking about weed.
Yeah, because Rashaan Salam, Ricky Williams was like 2004. Remember when he just said, when he failed the drug test, he was just, I'm just tired of masking these drug tests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And like, he pitched a 10 in Australia, and like, Dan Le Batard was the only person he'd talked to. That was like pre-Twitter and like social media. And it was when like, I think it was like the last big story to me that newspapers mattered because remember, he was the Heisman Trophy winner. He was the number 1 overall pick. He was like this person that was like people didn't understand in a big, big way, right? And he wasn't like this Dennis Rodman character that some people were portraying him as. As a matter of fact, it was the opposite. He was like had like anxiety issues and things like that.
But the Rodman thing came from the cover of ESPN, the magazine,
right, because of the
when he
dress
wore the wedding
that he wore
dress.
with Mike Ditka. Yeah. And that was like, to me, one of the last big stories that I remember, like every morning I was like, I need to see what Ricky Williams is saying. Like, you know what I'm saying? Because it was the strangest thing I'd ever seen. at that point.
We are like historians here today.
Right. Yeah, it is. But we're also old. But it was like, but when you think about it now, and by the way, Ricky actually has a cannabis company called Heisman, Highsma.
Oh, that's funny.
Which is hilarious.
That's very funny.
Good for him. And he's brilliant. Like, he's one of the smartest dudes you'll ever come across. I don't know him super well. But yeah, I always felt like, man, what a misunderstood character, because, I mean, Cappy, there were a couple of years there where he was out of control, best running back in the league.
Yeah. I mean, he was amazing. And he had the body, He
would punish dudes. Like, we talk about Derrick Henry now. Now, he wasn't as big as Derrick Henry.
No, not as tall.
But he was like Earl Campbell.
Right.
The new version of Earl Campbell.
Right.
Where he was so thick, and he's a San Diego kid, he was so thick that when guys tried to tackle him, it hurt the guys trying to tackle him.
Yeah. He had that Herschel Walker big giant leg, just hit somebody with your thigh, kind of a running style.
And I loved him because even in New Orleans, he wore the dark visor. Now, part of that we found out later was because of his anxiety. You know what I'm saying? But I just thought that was just like a cool look. You know what I mean? In the NFL back then, just to have that dark. You didn't see anybody with it other than him. You know what I mean? It was, and then LaDainian Tomlinson, I guess, used it later, right? Afterwards.
That's right.
But yeah, him and Rashaan Salaam, because Rashaan Salaam won the Heisman in 1994, right?
Sounds about right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, somewhere in the mid-'90s, because that's when this period of time was that we were just talking about. It's a long-ass time ago.
Yeah,
Jeez.
Both guys, because of weed. Who cares?
Well, back then, people did care.
Yeah, and he passed away. Obviously, rest in peace, Rashaan Salaam.
Right.
He passed away 6-7 years ago. But yeah, just so dumb. God.
Well, it's funny. One of our Circle of Trust members put out a video earlier today in the Circle. I don't know if you saw it or not.
Yeah. Oh, but by the way, tell your story about Rashaan. You and Rashaan.
Well, no, it was real simple. I mean, the guy. Listen, back then, everybody was worried about drug tests.
Right.
So the night before this big, fitness test, he's out there, he's getting high as can be. And I'm like, well, I can't keep up. I'm not an athlete like these guys are. So I just stood next to him, and he was wearing one of those full sweatsuits, like a plastic garbage bag where he was trying to sweat it all out. And me, I was wearing nothing. I was wearing a jock strap, because I couldn't have anything else to be weight on my body to slow me down.
Yep.
But I didn't want to lose to this jerk of a strength coach who was running the test.
Yeah. So, by the way, I didn't know Rashaan Salaam was also a San Diego kid.
He is. Rashaan Salaam and Ricky Williams.
Well, I knew Ricky, right.
Yeah,
that's
so
what I
here are
referred to, yeah.
These two guys that you're talking about, yeah.
That's crazy, man. That's crazy. But yeah, the weed stuff to me is so stupid now.
Yeah, but somebody posted today in the Circle of Trust, I think it was Big E, somebody can check me on this, and he was showing a television news report from back in probably the 70s when drinking and driving and using your seatbelt were becoming law. Hey, you're not allowed to drink and drive anymore. And they got this guy, and he's like, well, I think it's really terrible that a fella goes to work for 12 hours a day and wants to have a couple of beers on his way home. What's wrong with that?
Right.
And then this girl, she's like, I can't believe they're making me put on a seatbelt.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we're going to be a communist country. That is probably the tenor of what was going on back then. At least
these
in some
damn
places.
hippies that want to smoke weed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I just want to drink a beer and get in my car and go home.
Yeah, I've seen that same video. But yeah,
pretty funny.
It was, that sucks, man. Because I wish those guys would have gotten a fair shake, to be what they could have been in the NFL.
But you talk about Ricky Williams having his own weed brand now.
Yeah.
Athletes love to get done with their game, or even if they are, and they love to get into wine, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to get into the winemaking bit. I love wine.
Yeah.
I'm a big star.
Wine is a hard business, bro.
Wine. Okay, then now the new thing, I think everybody knows
Cannabis,
the new thing.
right.
Well, no, the new thing is tequila, right? LeBron's got tequila. Tequila Mandala.
Yeah.
Listen, I was at Kevin Hart on Friday night. Kevin Hart's got a tequila that he promotes.
Not as good as Mandela, though.
Well, I'm guessing it's probably not.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, my point is that wine, tequila, I'm telling you, if you're an athlete, now's the time to get into the cannabis
Well, Mike
world.
Tyson also into cannabis.
This buddy of mine, a guy named Kyle Turley. Do you remember him?
Yeah,
You talking about the New
of
Orleans
course,
Saints?
yeah.
Remember he threw his helmet against the Jets on a Monday Night Football game?
Yes,
He became
of course,
famous for that?
yeah,
He
yeah.
got his own weed brand, too.
Yeah. By the way, real quick, I just want to shout out, you mentioned Tequila Mandala. Our guys, Kirk and Craig Kartosian of Tequila Mandala, are helping put on a really cool basketball event this weekend at CSUN. Or not, is it this week? Yeah, it is this weekend. Team Armenia versus Team France, the legit national teams, are going to play a friendly right in our backyard in the Valley, out in Northridge, at CSUN. It's Friday, June 16th and Saturday, June 17th at CSUN, Cal State Northridge, at their premier America Credit Union Arena. It's a small arena. It's like 2,500 people. Tickets are still available, but they're going fast. So go to Armenia Basketball on IG or go to their website, armeniabasketball.com, to get your tickets on Eventbrite. And it's a perfect way for dads and their families to enjoy Father's Day weekend before Father's Day. So if you love basketball and you want to see high-level international basketball, Team France, no Victor, to my knowledge, but nonetheless, the rest of the guys will be there, and Team Armenia at CSUN. So make sure you go check it out.
Well, listen, maybe that's why I am still this way, because I'll tell you right now, the Tequila Mandala guys kept feeding it over to me, man. They just kept on coming. They kept on pouring.
You need the Z-Biotics. So.
Yeah,
all right, coming up next, let's get into Michael Malone saying that they're going to be a dynasty, the Nuggets, and what that means for the Lakers, the Clippers, the West, and what the teams in the East, the top teams in the East, will do: Miami, Philly, Boston, and Milwaukee. But, Cappy, first, tell them about your second home at East Central.
Yeah, listen, this is my downtown L.A. crib now. East Central Hotel is directly across the street from L.A. Live. And it is the perfect place that if you want to do a night out and you're going to come into downtown L.A. and you're going to see a show or a game, this is the place to go, because after the game, you come across the street, and the restaurant bar is a place called Nixo, Nixo. You can see the sign right from the street on Figueroa, and it's only like one floor off the street, so you get the vibe and the sound of downtown and the feeling of being on the streets, but you're above all of it, of what's going on. Then the next morning when you wake up, they have a brand new gym that is everything you need in a hotel gym. So look, if you're coming to downtown LA and you want to make a night of it, get the biggest and brightest and most beautiful hotel rooms in all of downtown LA, eCentralHotel.com. eCentralHotel.com. I will give you a number, 213-748-1291, 213-748-1291. eCentral Hotel in downtown LA, Entertainment's official address.
Ooh, a little LL Cool J. By the way, Bergman's going to come in here and tell you about something, by the way.
Tell me something or tell everybody something?
I mean everybody, but you, too.
It's a you thing, Cappy.
It is kind of a you thing.
I'm going to make it my last question in Radio Tinder. So
yeah,
be prepared.
yeah. Bergman is going to be in here. It'll be the last question in Radio Tinder.
I'll be, I would have wanted to know after he asks you if you would have wanted to know over the phone or via Zoom.
Oh, that's
In person,
true.
you know?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, definitely over Zoom or the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Just do it.
Over the airwaves counts too, right?
Yeah, over the airwaves apparently now.
Over the air is fine by me as well.
Yeah.
Also good.
It's been nice knowing you.
I got no shame.
Yeah.
I got no shame at all.
Yeah.
You can do it right over the air.
So, Cappy, Michael Malone. Do we have the Michael Malone audio?
Sure do.
Michael Malone said this at the podium, said this with SVP last night, said it, I believe, on NBA TV as well. He said it everywhere, that they're not satisfied. He actually quoted Pat Riley. I don't know if this is the same one that you have.
Yes.
And talked about just kind of what it takes, like when you're building a team, and it's something it's been stuck with him. And yes, Kamenetsky brothers, I wasn't the actual one that referenced Pat Riley in this occasion. So let's hear from Michael Malone.
You know, Pat Riley said something many years ago. I used to have it up on my board when I was a head coach in Sacramento, and I talked about the evolution in this game and how you go from a nobody to an upstart, and you go an upstart to a winner, and a winner to a contender, and a contender to a champion. And the last step is after you're a champion is to be a dynasty. So we're not satisfied. We accomplished something this franchise has never done before, but we have a lot of young, talented players in that locker room. And I think we just showed through 16 playoff wins what we're capable of on the biggest stage in the world.
And so he's ready. He's like, we've got a young team. We've got a team that's going to be together for a while. This is what we want to do. Now, dynasty doesn't mean three-peat like the Bulls or the Lakers or whatever. I mean, the Spurs were a dynasty, and they won 5 over 15 years. You know what I mean? And so do I think the Nuggets are going to be in the conversation over the next several? Absolutely. There's no question about it, in my opinion.
Yeah, it is interesting to hear him talk about that. I can't help but think to myself, I know I think I've told you this before, but when Deion Sanders finally won a Super Bowl, he'd gone from team to team to I'm trying to remember, Atlanta.
I think the Niners was the first one he won. Yeah.
And I don't know if you ever heard the story or not, but Deion tells it that after he won the Super Bowl, he actually tried to commit suicide. Have you ever heard this story?
I've heard it. I don't remember the details, but I have heard the story.
So here's the thing. The reason he felt that way is because he thought that when he reached the mountaintop, when he won the Super Bowl, when he had the fame and the money and the ring and everything else, that life was going to be different the next day, And then the sun came up and life was the same. It's just that the season was over and, yeah, they won. It's interesting to hear Michael Malone talk about this because I wonder, do they have the mindset to enjoy this and soak this in? Because there is no guarantee that you'll ever get back. Listen, I think people probably, George, a couple years ago thought Milwaukee might be a team that could potentially be a dynasty.
And they still could be.
That is true.
Yeah.
But they won one and they haven't gone back yet.
Yeah.
Okay? As Giannis said, it's a process. It's a building thing. It's not a failure. When we're done at the end of the career, maybe we'll look at it and decide then. But it seems so interesting to me to hear somebody not celebrating per se, but rather already thinking about this isn't enough. I'm not satisfied. There's a part of me that kind of really feels sad for him, and then there's another part of me that respects the ever-living hell out of him.
Correct. I mean, listen, Cappy, I think that we shouldn't be satisfied with just one show of the year victory.
Oh, I would totally agree with that. I don't think that they handed us the Mandy on Saturday night. And I was like, okay, mic drop. That's it. We're good.
Yeah. I think this is a battle between these shows for years to come.
Yeah, that's right. And that's why you got to evolve. You know what I'm saying, George? You got to look at what you did this past year on film and you go, yeah, we won the championship, but what are we going to do? We're going to just do the exact same stuff next year and expect the same results?
Right.
That's not going to happen because everybody else is going to make adjustments.
Right. Speaking of which,
that's what we got to do.
When I look at the Lakers, do you think they're close?
Are the Lakers and the Nuggets close?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they're close enough that the Lakers could lose 4 straight games to the Nuggets and the games would be competitive. They're close.
Yeah,
are they?
I don't think they're far. I would agree with that.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. The Nuggets just won the championship and the Lakers didn't make the playoffs. Distance between the two. The distance between the two is they played head-to-head. Denver won all 4 games. All 4 games are competitive. But Denver was better.
At this time last year, the Warriors had won, and I said the Lakers are not close because that was the roster with Russ, remember? And we started the year, and we kind of felt like, yeah, this is going to be another one of these messes. You know what I mean? And then they made the deal, and things changed very quickly, which is why we were urging them to make changes as soon as possible. I believe had they made changes sooner, they perhaps may have had a better chance to coalesce and gain some chemistry. And who knows what would have happened in those scenarios. Also, LeBron's injury, the timing of it, like you can't really help that. But I believe that the Lakers are close, that this offseason rather, is incredibly important for the Los Angeles Lakers' chances at a championship here in this window that they still have kind of cracked open here with LeBron and AD.
See, I would say that you say it's an important time. I would say it's the end of the line. I would tell you that had the Lakers started this past season with the roster they ended the season with, had they gone to training camp, had they had an off season, had they known who their roster was going into the year, and it was the roster we saw at the end, I think the Lakers could have been a 3 seed, a 4 seed. They could have been a 2 seed. And they could have been in a much better position to get to that Western Conference Finals and win some games and maybe even moved on. They didn't. So now, this offseason, you'd like to have a cohesive unit.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that since the Western Conference Finals have ended, all we've talked about is how many of these guys are actually going to be back.
Well, if we're being honest, we know 2 will be back. Max Christie will likely be back, barring him being included in a deal. I think that Austin Reeves and Rui will be back. So I can tell you for sure 4. Anything beyond that, well, maybe not even for sure, but I can tell you with fairly good certainty, those 4, maybe a 5th with Christie. Everything else is up for grabs.
And see, and this is my one.
And by the way, that's not a terrible situation to be in.
It's not terrible, but what it does do is it means that at the beginning of the new season, we might be looking at another.
Yeah, but that's
fairly.
That's plenty of continuity, Cap. When you're talking about like four guys that are absolutely in your rotation for sure.
Well, how many guys, just for perspective's sake, how many guys did Denver have at the beginning of the season? How many?
Well, they also had 2 guys coming off of injury, remember, and Michael Porter Jr. and Jamal Murray, who had missed, the majority of the last 2 postseasons. You know,
right, but when you throw in Jokic and you got a guy like Gordon, I'm just trying to get this.
Well, Gordon was added last year.
Okay, so is it 4 like? Because you're talking about AD, LeBron.
So they
Rui.
added this year. They added Contavious Caldwell-Pope, Bruce Brown, Jeff Green, Christian Brown. I mean, that's 4 guys. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys in their rotation, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not to mention they got 2 guys back from injury. So, I mean, although they had experience with the team. So, yeah, but 4 guys in their rotation. So they had, let's just say, we'll give you Murray and Porter even though they had been gone for a long time.
Yeah, because they're part of the organization.
Due to injury. 1, 2, 3. Gordon had only been there 1 year, had not played with Jamal Murray, and barely played with Michael Porter. So we should probably not even count Gordon because his only real link was with Jokic. So, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm saying, like, there's plenty of turnover on these rosters on a regular basis that.
But I feel like the Lakers went out and made this trade when they did, and what we're talking about are all the guys who were part of that trade are all major question marks. You know, like not one of those guys, not D'Angelo Russell, not Jared Vanderbilt, I mean, certainly not a Mo Bamba. I mean, these guys, I know I'm probably missing one of the names that came in at that time, but none of those guys are like shoo-ins to be back. In fact, they're all just big question marks about whether or not they're going to be back.
Yeah, and listen, I just think that the Lakers are in a good spot because that's enough continuity in the NBA, comparatively speaking, today. Like 4 guys coming back that are a big part of your rotation is a good place to start.
I don't know, man. I'd like to see it.
Yeah, of course you'd like to see more, but that's not realistic. There's always a lot of turnover in the bottom 5 of the roster for sure, at the very least.
Yeah, but bottom 5, we're talking about 4 guys we know for sure.
Right, but I just told you there wasn't that many guys from the previous year on Denver. So that's the way it works.
Yeah, I mean, I just look at Denver and I think of them as being a more consistent
because
franchise.
those 3 guys have been there for a while. But again, 2 of them hadn't been there.
Coach.
But 2 of them hadn't been there for a minute. Well, the coach I'll give you, sure. I just think, you know what else I think is weird? I think it's weird. The NBA fans do this weird thing where they did it with the Lakers, now they're doing it with the Heat, and they did it with Boston too, where they like trash these guys who don't win the championship, like the stars of the teams that don't win the championship.
Why? Who's being trashed?
No, I'm just saying. I've seen it. Like, it's just the internet does this, right?
Like Jimmy Butler getting trashed?
Yeah, and LeBron was getting trashed, and AD, and I've told them to go to hell. All those people that don't understand AD, and the Boston guys took it. And it's like, yo, man, all those guys were right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, they were in the Final Four. Like, I get it's not college, but like, there were guys sitting at home for a long time that would love to be in those guys' spots. I mean,
listen, you don't make it to the Super Bowl, but you make it to the AFC Championship game. I mean, listen, the goal was to win and win to the Super Bowl. We got to the AFC title game. We came up against Patrick Mahomes. We lost the game,
And I understand certain teams, like, look, I mean, the Lakers, clearly, that's championship or bust. I get that. Trust me when I tell you that. But
you do?
When
you understand that?
When there's, and even, look, Pat Riley doesn't want anything but a championship either. I mean, because he grew up with the Lakers. So, like, I get that. Boston, too, for that matter. But, there are levels to this, right? Like, yeah, like, for those teams, they want to win a championship. We understand that. But you've brought this up, and I've agreed. When you look at where the Lakers and Heat were,
Well, that's just it. The Lakers and the Heat are two teams that you might look at and say, hey, was this season a success or a failure? And everybody talked to Giannis and everybody heard his opinion on that. Dude, you were the number 1 seed and you got knocked out by the last seed in the conference. It was a big deal and it was a failure. But for the Heat and for the Lakers, given what they had left on the roster, given how bodies were, et cetera,
two things can be true at once. Those teams want to win championships, but the season, the way it turned out, was a big surprise. There's no doubt. All right, coming up next, Radio Tinder, back-to-back award-winning Radio Tinder, and then Bergman's going to join us for the last question to give you some stuff, apparently. But first, let me tell you about our guy Jacob and Ronnie, who was here for Game of Games today, as he is every Tuesday on Mason and Ireland. If you were injured in an accident recently but haven't called my guy Jacob yet, what the hell are you waiting for? Call him at 844-24-JACOB. Not taking action may cost you money, okay? What does that mean? Well, let's say you were injured in a car accident a few months ago. You thought the pain in your back would go away, so you never went to see a doctor. But now, a few months later, it's getting worse every week. The problem is, because it's been a few months since the accident, it's much more difficult to prove that your back pain was caused by that particular accident. Therefore, you probably have to pay for this yourself. Don't put yourself in that situation. Do not put yourself in that situation. If you're injured in an accident, call Jacob immediately at 844-24-JACOB. He'll get you the doctor with no money out of pocket so you can physically recover quickly and not have to pay for it yourself. Remember, a lot of attorneys say they'll fight for you. You call Jacob, he'll win for you. Call him at 844-24-JACOB. That's 844-24-JACOB. Or visit him online at calljacob.com. Full House.
Sorry, I'm jamming out to
It's okay.
the song.
I loved this show.
Take it away, producer Lindsay.
It's a great song.
No, I'm busy listening to this song.
Great song, great show. So, it's Mary Kate and Ashley Olsen's birthday. How old do you think they are?
Oh, man, they've got to be...
They're in their 40s. Come on.
43.
No, I was going to... No, younger than that. I would say...
You said a guess.
That show aired in the early 90s. Oh, wait, maybe. They could be close to 40.
37.
Yeah, close.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, oh man, like, oh, remember when they were born? Obviously, like, they're like the same age
billionaires,
as
huh?
me, but still.
Yeah.
That's
Lindsay,
crazy.
Lindsay, do you ever look behind you when you're broadcasting the show? Because
Why would I look behind me?
Well, I'll explain why. Because I watch on YouTube.
Cody and DeAndre.
And Cody and DeAndre are behind you, and Cody thinks he's part of like the Backstreet Boys. You know what I mean? Like he got the dance moves right out of the Backstreet Boys videos.
In Sync.
You
Get
know
it
what
right,
I mean?
Captain.
Oh, it's In Sync. Bye, whatever,
Yeah.
whichever one it is.
Yeah.
And DeAndre, we all know what a stud this guy is. I mean, come on. He sent me a bunch of pictures yesterday of me and him just all looking dope AF at the Mandy's. So yeah, Linz, look behind you. These guys are dancing. They're doing things.
I'm sure they are, Cappy, but I'm also producing a radio show, so, you know, like,
So get a
excuse
mirror.
me for not noticing.
Get a
I'm
mirror.
working. I'm working.
Look behind you, girl.
Okay. Anyway, the College World Series has already had some great games, especially this past Sunday night when Stanford pitcher Quinn Matthews put on a brilliant performance. Not only did he get the complete game win, but Matthews also threw an insane 156 pitches to help his team beat the Texas Longhorns.
Damn.
However, baseball fans are kind of at odds about this whole situation.
Yeah.
Some congratulated him for his efforts, while others questioned why Stanford allowed him to throw that many times.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think it's okay that a starter in the College World Series was asked to throw 156 pitches in one game?
Well, it
Swipe
wasn't
left or
even in
swipe
the College World Series. It was in the College Regionals.
Right,
in the Super Regional.
tournament.
Yeah. So I'm very conflicted on this. Okay, so I don't know what the hell I'm going to swipe, but I'm very conflicted because it is way too many pitches. Just to give you some context, Cappy, do you want to guess when was the last time a major league pitcher threw that many or more pitches?
I'd say.
Let's just say how long it's been since a major league pitcher threw at least 150 pitches in a game.
I'd say 40 years.
No, that's too long.
Didn't Santana do it at one point?
No, I know the last pitcher that
How
did
many?
it.
Who did it?
It was Roger Clemens with the Toronto Blue Jays in
What year?
1995 or 6 or something like that.
So that's like 30 years ago.
Right. So it's been almost 30 years.
Yeah.
So that part of me makes me think that's why I'm uncomfortable. The interesting part, the part where I'm not 100% uncomfortable, is that, first of all, this kid goes to Stanford. He's very smart. And interestingly enough, I want to say a week before he pitched 156 pitches. His previous full start to that was June 2nd. On June 2nd, that same day, he presented a presentation to his class, and that presentation was alternatives to Tommy John surgery. So he has actually researched alternatives to Tommy John surgery because he feels like, most pitchers, it's probably inevitable at some point or another. And then he pitched a couple days later, after that start on June 2nd, on 3 days rest, only 66 pitches, but the school, including the coaches, asked him and his parents if that was okay if he pitched on short rest. He pitched on full rest, 156. So that part of it makes me think like, hey, this kid understands the ramifications. And by the way, he is a kid that could be drafted in somewhere in the 4th to 6th round, according to most of the experts. Because I've read this story at length over the last couple of days because I didn't know how to feel about it.
Now, is this the same game where Texas and Stanford are playing, and the kid from Stanford hits his pop fly, and the Texas outfielder can't find the ball in the lights, and it's a walk-off, and it's like the kid never even went to make the catch?
That was the next day.
Okay,
That was the next
gotcha.
day. So it was a 3-game series. Texas won the first game because Stanford blew a 5-run lead, okay? Or a 3-run lead, rather. And Texas scored 5 runs in the 9th inning. And so that's the other part of the reason he wanted to pitch and go the whole distance, because they almost took him out in the 9th inning at 135 pitches. And he said, no, I want to get these guys out, and they kept him in. So, yeah, I'm very conflicted, but I feel like this kid understands the ramifications and is willing to understand that his career could be altered and understands that he may need to do some stuff to help alter his career. But that's the only reason I'm in on it, because 156 pitches is way too many.
Yeah, it is way too many. I'll tell you, man, George, where I'm conflicted is I watched my son play travel ball for all these years, and there were times when kids would pitch, and the coach would just leave them out there. And I'd be sitting there with a parent going, are you okay with this? I've seen kids in like travel ball tournaments throw 140, 150 pitches. They're 15 years old.
Yeah,
like,
that's crazy.
what are you doing?
Yeah, it's crazy.
So it is amazing to me that this kid would be willing to sacrifice himself for his team and pitch that many balls. And you said, did he get the complete game? Did he get the win? Because you said you were, I guess
He did. He got the complete win.
Yeah, they won.
Wow. So I'm also, there is a conflict of that's way too many pitches, but on the other hand, it's like this kid, he was willing to sacrifice his future just for this win. Just goes to show you how much he was willing to sell out for his teammates. I love it.
Yeah, but it's still way too many pitches. So it's
I
both.
agree.
It is both. Two things can be true at once. Again,
I've heard that twice today.
Yeah.
So,
two things.
sticking with baseball, Shohei Ohtani stole the show with his clutch 2-homer performance in last night's Angels' victory over the Rangers. His 20 home runs now lead the rest of the American League. With homer number 20, that means for the third straight season, Shohei once again reached 20-plus homers, 100-plus strikeouts in a single season, and he's the only player that's ever done that before, which is insane. Ohtani's hitting .391, .442, .848 with 5 home runs and 12 RBIs just in June alone. And, of course, he's been like the engine of the Angels' recent success. Do you guys think that the Angels are going to end up trading him? Swipe left or swipe right, Cappy?
I'm going to swipe right. No. I'm going swiping left. I'm swiping left.
Did you
know
change
what?
your mind or did you get confused? I'm curious.
Yeah, I got confused.
Okay,
Here's the thing. I think they should trade him. I think that the Angels have to look at where they are right now. They're 5 games over 500, but they're behind Houston. They're behind Texas in their division. Could they do something? Could they make it into the wild card? Maybe. But let's say they don't win the World Series and he walks for nothing. Now would be the time to be working a deal with the Dodgers to raid the Dodgers minor league system, rebuild your entire system, and for the Dodgers, it's your time to get Ohtani inside and work on getting him a long-term deal. I mean, for some reason, I think the Angels won't do what I'm saying. So that's why I'm swiping left and saying I think the Angels will keep him the whole year.
I agree. Swipe right. I don't think the Angels are trading him, especially if they're in it. They would have to be completely out of it by July 31st, which is less than 6 weeks away. So I don't see that happening. So I think they're going to ride it out. But it's not the prudent move, in my opinion.
Let's say we're fast forwarding a month, and today, instead of it being the 13th of June, it's July 13th. And they're 5.5 back in the West. 1 game out of the last wild card spot. Would you trade him?
No.
See,
One game out of the last wild card spot?
Yeah,
No.
I would.
No,
I would
They're
too.
stupid if they don't trade him.
I would trade him
No,
also.
if you're 1 game out of the last wild card spot, you got to go for it.
Yeah, but go for what?
I mean, what do you mean go for what? We've seen
What I
wild
mean
card
is-
teams win the World Series.
True,
The
but
Heat.
it's not like a high
Well, no,
percentage
forget about that.
play.
We're just talking about baseball teams.
Oh, yeah,
right,
yeah.
but it's not a high percentage play. If you were in first place and you were kind of running away with it and you felt like, hey, we got the team this year. This is our team to win the World Series. I mean, George, I'm sure you'll do some research and tell us when the last team was that won the World Series. That was
There are 14 teams in the wild card to reach the World Series.
Reach. How many have won?
7.
Okay, interesting. So, again, you use the word prudent. The smart baseball move is trade him and restock your entire system.
But if you're going to do that, you should do that like sooner rather than later.
The smart business move is to try and play it out and then see if you can sign him. But if you don't think you can sign him and you don't think you're going to win a World Series...
Okay, that's a different discussion if you don't think you can sign
but
him.
I don't think that there's
Well,
any
that's a big
chance,
part of it.
even if they did win the
Right,
World
but we were
Series,
just strictly
like,
talking about baseball contention at that point. If you don't think you can sign him, then you have to absolutely trade him.
I don't think that there's any chance he's staying there.
Well, I think you're referring to sign him. You mean also the money part of the equation.
Well, I'm just saying that if the Angels don't feel like he will sign with them, regardless of the money, he's
they
out.
probably do.
He's
Right,
going to the
right.
Dodgers. He's going to the Yankees. He's out of Anaheim. They're not a winning
Well, I
culture,
think
et cetera, et
that's a
cetera.
conversation you have to have with his agent or whoever, or him both, and just be like, "Hey, do you want to be here next year? Yes or no? And if you do, then we'll ride this out. If you don't, then we're going to trade you."
Got to make a move.
You cannot let like the best player and maybe the past 50 years or whatever.
Well,
Just
no,
walk. For
right,
nothing.
I get it, but you have to have there has to be some semblance of a adult conversation that's been had in that.
But I
scenario.
think the Angels have a fear that if they let him go, they're showing their fan base and their team they're not serious about winning.
Well, I think it's
but on the other hand, it's like, dude, restock your entire
You know
system
what?
with
If they
one
don't,
guy.
if they don't trade him, we should carry those Angel games, Greg Bergman, since you're in the studio right now.
We're carrying a lot of those games anyway.
Okay,
but you
good.
need to trade him right now. You should have done it last year. He's
well,
not signing.
that's a
with
different
them.
story last year because you weren't good last year, but now you're actually decent. So-
Right? They're decent. At the best, they're
but
decent.
It's not like it's not like you can't get into the World Series as a
But
wild card team.
even if they win the World Series, he's leaving. So
what? You got a World Series.
You
in
got
that
yeah, but
scenario,
then you're
though.
getting nothing for him.
So what?
It's crazy.
At that point, I got the championship.
I'm
Who
with
cares?
George on that. If you win the World Series and he walks, okay, so be it. I got
Fine,
the
but
World
what's
Series.
the odds that they actually win a World
Very,
Series?
very low. It's
Right.
a low percentage
Right.
play.
But baseball's one of those wacky sports. We've seen that happen occasionally. I mean, the
Sure.
Kansas City Royals
Sure
almost
is
won a World
wacky.
Series.
Almost did it?
Because-
But they were right there.
Yeah, right
But
there.
they-
Yeah,
but they
Kansas
built
City,
through the
the
Royals.
The Indians almost won.
Right, but the Indians actually have been good.
The
recently.
Guardians were good last year. Yeah.
That's right. Be politically correct and call them the Guardians.
Well, because
they
at
were
the
the
time
Indians,
they
they were in the
were
World
they
Series.
were
They
the
were.
Indians then. Last year they were the Guardians. I was careful about that.
Team
not
in the
careful.
past
It's just
tense.
being factual.
All right, so last question here.
You know what? We're gonna have to combine breaks because Bergman's in here, and you're already in here. So, do you approve the combining?
Yeah, that's
of the
totally
breaks?
fine. Just
okay,
put it at
there
the
you
end.
go.
All right,
Just
so,
get out on time at the top.
Yeah, we will.
Bergman can get more into detail about it, but essentially, they're talking about the 7-10 All-Star Friday night, which is coming up on July 7th that we discussed earlier in the show. And as you mentioned, there's going to be two team captains. One, last year it was Team Cappy versus Team Mason. And this year, I guess they've decided to make Host of the Year Alan Sliwa one of the captains.
Oh, wow,
So-
Cappy, your captainship. You're gonna be stripped of your seat.
Yeah,
Can't-
now
can't,
the dilemma.
Can't have a problem with that. I mean, you got to give it up. You got to yield to the host of the year.
Okay, well, I was going to ask the dilemma.
Wow,
I
you're
guess,
gonna
is
yield.
Who should be
Wow.
the second?
This
the
was
second
quick.
captain. You're just going to give it up?
No. Hold on. You guys didn't let me finish.
Oh, you're saying that Mason should potentially give it up?
Well, let's think about it for a second. On one hand, you have the host of the year, Alan Sliwa. Can we all agree that Alan is deserving of being one of the
Yeah.
one of the captains?
Yes,
Okay.
he is
Absolutely.
absolutely deserving of being one of the captains.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, here's a question for you.
Yeah.
Who won Show of the Year this year?
You guys did.
Good
Sedano
point.
Kap.
That's a good point,
That's right.
Debbie.
And I
So-
won't be there.
Right. So, as a representative of the Show of the Year and the host of the year. So, for example, Bergie, think about it like this. Last year, I was host of the year, and Mason and Ireland were Show of the Year. This year, Sliwa is host of the year. He gets a team, and we get a team. And because George is out, I get to call it my team, blah, blah, blah. We can call it Sedano and Kappa. I don't really care.
So counterpoint. Mason won. His team won last year in the All-Star Friday
They
night.
did because you gave up the yams.
Also, as George so eloquently pointed out in our Show of the Year acceptance speech, Mason and Ireland, they are the anchor of the station.
Engine.
Of
Yeah.
the station.
We're the caboose.
Well,
So, what are you saying? Do
Cappy?
you think it should be
I don't know. I'm
Mason
torn. I'm torn.
no, you're not, girl. Be real. You said Mason.
Well, I did. That was before Cappy brought up the point
That's
about
snitching.
we won Show of the Year, so you do have a good point with that, Cappy. I really am torn.
I said you, Cap, because you were host of the year last year. So it'd be like last year's winner, this
Were
year's
you the
winner.
host of the year when we went to that? When we did that event?
Yes. Yes,
Okay.
he was.
Yes,
so
he
that's
was.
why I said Cappy.
Here's what I think, Greg. I think that going forward, there should be a rule that host of the year gets a team,
And the
show
winner-
of the year gets a team.
No, the winner of the All-Star Friday night, the manager of that team, should also be a manager the next year.
Well, now let me ask you this question: If you,
I mean,
if
Mason's
you-
team won.
that is true. That is true. But
You're
these
not
rules
lying
are,
there.
I was on Cappy's team, so I should be upset.
right, but these rules are being made as we go.
Right, you're still blaming Kurt Sandoval for a really tough catch.
It was a
It hit his
catchable
glove.
ball. It was a
Makes it an
completely
error.
catchable ball.
Falling
If it hits your
over
glove,
your
it's
crappy
supposed to
fence.
catch
I was going to say, you guys need better fencing.
You're
I
supposed to catch
didn't
it.
buy the fence.
Hey, so really what it comes down to is this. It sounds like a decision has been made. Sliwa is going to get one team, and it sounds to me
I
like
think you and
Mason is gonna get
Mason.
the other.
I think you and Mason should do a twerk
Should duke
off.
it out.
Yeah,
I think there should be a
Team
fight
cap.
between you and Mason
another
tomorrow.
another twerk off.
How about a home run derby between me and Mason?
The twerk off is a good idea.
Oh my God, that could take forever. None of you
Yeah,
are
no,
going to hit
that's
home
true.
runs.
we have to. I want to have this decided by tomorrow. You and Mason tomorrow figure it out in crosstalk, or you can come on to Mason in Ireland, whatever you want to
I
do.
have a great idea.
Yeah.
I have a great idea.
Yeah.
I say Sliwa gets a team, and me and Mason take a team.
As
Together?
in you and Mason.
Co-captains?
But why does
Captain.
Mason want to have the losing manager of the
hold
other team
Let
on
me
his
ask you-
team?
Well, let me ask you a question, Greg.
Yeah.
Is the roster exactly the same from last year?
No.
Well, then his team didn't actually win last year.
Yeah, that.
See, it's Team Cappy, Greg.
Technicality.
I'm sorry.
Well, technicality, but also like, if you win a World Series the next year, you don't technically have exactly
That's
the same
fair point
players.
as well, Cappy.
Well, why don't you just give Mason back his entire roster from a year ago so they can defend their title?
Some guys can play, some guys can't play. You know, it just depends on
All
what's
right,
going on.
Let's ask Beto Duran because we were going to bring him on anyway to talk about the crazy boxing event that he was on. But first, let me tell you about our friends. Radio Tinder is presented by our friends at Tequila Mandala. Always swipe right on Tequila Mandala, award-winning small batch premium sipping tequila made from the finest mature agaves, available everywhere fine tequilas are sold. Visit their website, tequilamandala.com. Demand the extraordinary with Tequila Mandala. All right, Beto. So
I'm
we
playing
have
basketball with Kurt Kartosian on Saturday.
You are?
Yeah.
Excellent. So,
Tequila
Beto,
Mandala.
lay this out, Greg, for Beto, and let Beto weigh in on this conversation.
All right, Beto. So All-Star Friday night's coming up where you were one of the stars, actually. And since Alan Sliwa is now host of the year, we are going to give him one of the teams. He's going to be the manager of one of the teams. Now, last year it was Team Cappy versus Team Mace. We're trying to figure out who the other manager should be.
Ooh, it's got to be CY.
Wow, so you're going no Cappy no Mace.
Yeah, so Cappy's saying that he
because-
should be because he's a part of the show of the year, and I'm saying Mason should be the next host. Should be
But
Mason
Cappy
should
didn't
be
win any-
because he won,
but did
his team
Cappy
won.
win- No, Cappy didn't win anything individual. So Sliwa did. He gets a team, and CY was your co-host on the red carpet. He looked dapper. There you go.
But I think what's happening here, Beto, is that what they're trying to decide is they're going to give Sliwa one of the teams. Do they let Mason be the captain of the other team because his team, your team, won last year? Or do they let me have the other team?
Actually,
because
here's
I
your
was-
decision.
Okay.
Beto should be the other team captain since he won the game.
That's not a bad call.
No, because I didn't win a Mandy, so I don't deserve that.
But you won the game.
What? Yeah, but it didn't matter. I didn't win that. You know, if I had to choose between Mason or Cappy, it's Cappy all day. I mean, come on now.
See,
the circle
I
is
said-
here.
I said
Feel me?
Team
Cappy
Cappy.
all day.
Team Cappy.
Feel me?
Mason is going to be mad. Hold on. How mad is Mason going to be if he's not a captain?
Oh, he's going to be furious.
But seriously,
Wait, Donna may be listening. Sorry.
Donna is listening.
Yeah.
I just think it
No,
makes
but
sense.
on the real though, it should be Cappy because Cappy cares about this and Cappy can play.
Okay,
Mason
hold
didn't
on.
get hurt before that.
Greg had a good point. Lindsay, get another line and put Mason on the phone.
All right. Now, wait, before Mason comes on the air, hey, Beto, you're right.
Yes.
The fact that you didn't win the most athletic moment of the year with the walk-off home run.
Which I said you should have won, even
And
though
the-
I was up there.
And by the way, Kurt Sandoval should have won the least athletic moment
Oh,
of the
Jesus.
year when he dropped that
Such a
ball.
hater, bro.
Okay?
The nicest man in the world.
But I think this.
You served it up.
I know you should have won that award. I don't know who voted for George as pickleball play-by-play guy.
Clearly
Like,
the people.
I liked it. I mean, don't get me wrong. I was standing there watching the whole thing go down. But I mean, Beto, you really got jobbed.
Hey, I don't care. As long as the best show in the station wins, that's all that matters.
Hear that, Bergie?
Yeah.
You guys won show of the year.
That's why I voted for Man of the People.
Now, Beto, here's
Because
the
we're,
thing.
Travis
we're all
Rogers.
together here. We're all together here. That's what matters because we root for each other.
Right now, Beto, here's the thing. You left the Mandy's on Saturday, and this whole Mayweather-Gotti thing that happened on Sunday, I wouldn't have known about. I swear to God, dude, I wouldn't have known about it if it wasn't for your social media. Everybody's seen the video by now. What happened?
Okay, so the fight got stopped because they were talking trash to each other, back and forth. They were cursing at each other in the middle of the fight. Mayweather is toying with John Gotti's grandson, and Mayweather is the cheering section behind me was all the Gotti family and friends. They all had Gotti shirts and hats. Mayweather's over there poking at him like wrestling. It's an exhibition. The fight gets stopped, and then after the fight gets stopped, Gotti goes after Mayweather, and that's when the best punch was thrown by Gotti. During the fight, he didn't do a damn thing. And then Mayweather security jumps in. It was such a cluster because when the broadcast started, there were people with cameras in front of me. Everybody had a credential ringside, and I had to say, move your cameras, I can't see. And as soon as everybody started running into the ring, my table got pushed against the ring. My chest hit the table, and I said on the broadcast, "We are gone." And I grabbed Claudia Trejos, the fantastic Claudia Trejos, and Antonio Tarver, and we ran out. I grew up in Carson, man. When something happens like that, it pops off. You don't want to be an innocent bystander. I took off. We went to the back, and as we were in the loading dock, and mind you, it's home of the Florida Panthers, FLA Live, and that's when the reality star females started going at each other. And it was just crazy, man. You see the videos. You saw my Instagram. I booked it as soon as I could, man, because my table was getting slammed into the ring. There was nowhere to go.
So you're in the back now, like in the loading dock, and is it just you and Tarver? And what was the young lady's name that you mentioned?
Claudia Trejos, the fantastic Claudia Trejos, who's a fantastic reporter. So she was our partner. So we went in the back in the loading dock, and we're like, what the heck? As we're running out of the building, that's when the fights, you could see behind us, the fights started happening in the crowd. And I'm like, no, we're gone. Through the loading dock, and we all looked at each other. What happened? And then we see a rush of people coming through the tunnel. Just like a Staples Center, the same tunnel that you have there when you go onto the court. You see a bunch of people running out, and that's when the women went at it. So it was crazy, man. It was people ask me, "Oh, it was scripted," right? I was like, if it was scripted, I didn't get a script because those punches being thrown were real, man. The Gotti people were jumping over like the barricade. It was intense.
Now, is Gotti like the crime family Gotti?
Yes, the grandson, John Gotti, the grandson of John Gotti. That guy.
Is he a fighter, or is he like one of these guys who's a YouTuber who wants to become a fighter?
No, he was like 5-1 in MMA, and then he was like 2-0 in boxing. And he and Floyd throughout the whole week, they took over the Fountain Blue in Miami. It was like a big, like they went back and forth. Floyd got $10 million for an exhibition appearance, and it was at FLA Live. Okay, home of the Panthers. They sold probably about 10,000 tickets, but there was a performance and then a fight. A performance and a fight. Osuna was there. Lunai, who had like 10 million followers, he's a reggaeton guy, was supposed to perform after the fight. That didn't happen. Nicky Jam was there. Luis Fonsi was there. Like Despacito, everybody you think about the reggaeton world was there, and it was just mayhem when it all happened. People were like, "Oh, you should have stayed and got content." I'm like, you know what kind of people get content? Those are the kind of people that get hit or run over, man. That's not me.
So how'd you wind up going from the arena when you're in the back at the loading zone, like to call somebody and go, "All right, hey, we're ready to go to the airport now. Can somebody come find us? I'll drop a pin."
No. We ran out. So once we saw the females fighting going on back and forth, and you could see it. It's all over. It's just crazy in the loading dock area. And then more people started running out. And, when you see a mob of people running out, we just booked it. And I ran out, and then luckily Claudia was parked right in the loading dock. We jumped in her car, and we took off.
Damn.
And Antonio Tarver, we're like, what happened to him? And then he's over there on Instagram Live recording the girl fight.
Dude, it was insane. You could see I love how you could see your hand in like the sea of people though. Like I thought it was hilarious. And you could hear you like saying, "Are they stopping it?" And then you were like, "Whoa." Yeah, like you went you were like, in the midst of all of it.
Yeah, they kept the referee's mic on, so I got drowned out, so you couldn't hear my voice. George, I legit, my director, Jeff, was fantastic. I work with him in boxing, said, if you guys got to go, you got to go. And I was like, okay, it's getting crazy in here. And then that's when I got shoved from behind. And I literally said on the air, mind you, it's pay-per-view. I said, F that, we're gone. And I put the headset down, grabbed my backpack, and he's gone. I cuffed on the air. I mean, not that it matters.
I mean, it's pay-per-view. It doesn't matter.
But, dude, that's how, I forgot about being a professional. Because once you get shoved from behind, forget that. I'm not, and everybody around us was like 6'6", 7.
Well, Laura's shoving me from behind, saying that we got to go in 15 seconds. So
Team Cappy.
All right. See you later, bro.
Thanks, Beto.
There it is. All right. We'll be back in 3.5 minutes. Ramona's going to join us to join in on this softball conundrum, and maybe we'll ask her a couple of questions about the NBA and what the Lakers could do or the Clippers could do, et cetera. Next.
To know. What you need to know.
Let's do it. What you need to know right now.
What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. Linz, what do you got?
So, guys, the tee times for this week's 123rd U.S. Open at LA Country Club have been announced, and one of the pairings has raised a lot of eyebrows. Rory McIlroy and Brooks Koepka, of all people, have been grouped together alongside Hideki Matsuyama as the third wheel. Rory has been the most outspoken player in the PGA Tour's war with the Saudi-backed LIV Golf Tour, while Koepka has been the best player on the LIV, having just won the PGA Championship last month after nearly winning the Masters, finishing runner-up back in April. Despite their differences, the pair are now set to spend 2 straight days and 36 holes together when they tee it up alongside Matsuyama this week. So I'm pretty excited about that because I'm going to be there, and I can't wait to see it.
Yeah, U.S. Open is a great golf tournament to go to. I've been to a couple of them in the last few years. It's the golf tournament to go to. I mean, I've never been to the Masters, so put it that way. Something on the bucket list, the Masters for sure. But the U.S. Open is a great event to be at. To have it at the LA Country Club is awesome. Course looks amazing. I've been kind of taking a look at just all the pictures and the setup and everything. It's going to be an awesome thing. But wow, to whoever put that pairing together, that
knew
was
what they're
smart.
doing. Yep.
That was smart, Jack.
Those ratings are going to be through the roof.
That was really good. Wow, those two guys together. Who televises the U.S. Open now? Is it Fox?
ESPN on the
ESPN,
early
yeah.
days has one day. Thursday, I think we have.
Yeah.
On ESPN.
And then who gets, because CBS is the Masters.
Yeah.
No, but I don't know if the CBS has the
No, I think
U.S. Open.
it would be ABC, wouldn't it?
No, it is. Fox had the U.S. Open.
Yeah, they did,
but
but
I think we may have something.
They did so bad with
Maybe
it.
we have something Thursday. I'm pretty sure we have something on ESPN Thursday because there's no TV shows on or talk shows on Thursday.
I literally don't know who's televising it, but I do know this. Sunday is Father's Day, and on Father's Day, all I want is 2 things. 1, for my kids to help me clean the garage. 2, I want to be able to watch the final round of the U.S. Open. Is that too much to ask?
USA has rounds 1 and 2. NBC has 3 and 4.
Oh, that's what it is. So what do we have on Thursday? Oh, it must be the College World Series that we have on Thursday. That's
Thank you,
what it is.
Bergie.
You're
Good
welcome.
point of information. Good job. Nice to have you.
Hey, what's going on?
How was dinner last night with Sedano?
Oh, real quick, let's get to Ramona. What you need to know is brought to you by Morongo Casino Resort and Spa. Good times, less than 90 minutes from wherever you are. All right, Ramona's here. Momo's here. Momo has a story about Stan Kroenke we can ask her about, but before we get to that, we have actual business. We have family business to discuss here, Ramona.
What's up?
All right, so Bergman, lay it on her.
All right, so last year's All-Star Friday night coming up July 7th, Momo. We need you. But so last year it was Team Cappy versus Team Mace. Team Mace won.
Yeah.
This year, Alan Slewa is the host of the year, so there's going to be a Team Slee. Now we're trying to figure out who the next captain should be. And Cappy thinks that he should be the captain because he was a part of the show of the year. But I think it's Mason based on the fact that his team won last year.
And Momo, just so you know, it was presented to me live on the air, as in it's between you and Mason, and so I just spoke up for I'm part of the show of the year, and Bergie brought up, but he's got to defend his title. So that. Listen, Beto just came on and said it should be Clinton Yates.
He won't be there.
I don't know why it would be Clinton Yates.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's a good drop,
Clinton,
though.
but what claim does he have on that?
Well, I think Beto's idea was that Clinton Yates, as we both know from last year, took it very seriously.
He likes to stretch.
Has a very high care factor. Yeah. Oh, he did get the bats. That was clutch.
Yeah,
that was really
I paid
cool.
for those bats and never got paid back.
Yeah.
Who paid for those bats?
Me.
You paid for those bats?
Yeah.
And you never got paid back?
Oh, those other the bats. I bought all the balls and all the gloves. Never mind. He got the bats. Those bats are cool.
They are.
Those are really cool. I think the defending champ is the no. I mean, it's not even like personal. It's just he's the defending champ.
Right, but I just have one question though. Shouldn't the defending champ just field the same team?
That's a good point. I can't argue with that.
So I mean, Mason is going to be the captain of a team that he didn't really manage last year. He's just going to be a figure.
I mean, it's kind. Well, he definitely was managing. I mean, he was like bringing in all the ringers and. Remember, he subbed me out after
brought in Ron Mitchell.
Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
Right.
I mean, I
the
was
MC of the year.
It was like very postpartum-y. I was like, I just had a baby a month ago. Like, not quite able to play yet.
But doesn't that make him a good manager that he's bringing out? He takes out the starter,
No, he
puts in
did.
the reliever.
He did. We not only were we outplayed, fact is we were outmanaged.
Yeah, I mean, I think he wanted it more. You know,
what,
I mean,
you know what, Bergie? You know what? Maybe we should do.
What's
maybe
that?
we should do this. Host of the year should always get the team. Let's just go back to a year ago. The reason I got the team is because I was host of the year. Mason got the team because Ireland was gone, and Sliwa and Travis did not get the team because those guys got shut out at the Mandy's last year. Why don't we do like either just go with Mason on one side, Sliwa on the other, and it's always winning team versus host of the year. And if there's got to be a tiebreaker just in case the same person is both.
By the way,
wow.
By the way, Dead Meow in the Sedano and Cap Circle of Trust has tweeted #Team Cappy. Mace will more than likely call out sick that day anyway.
Oh, that's a good point. He may be on vacation.
Do you think he'll bail?
He would if he's not the manager.
Oh, if he's not the manager, he's definitely not showing up.
Could I manage Team Mace? I'd like to manage Team Mace.
How about? Well, that's something he could be the like owner
GM?
/GM/player.
You could be the bench coach. You could be the bench coach.
Well, no, he could be the GM. Greg's got a good point. Mace could be the GM, and now Cappy, you would have to then interview with Mace to be his manager. I think that's how this has to work.
Well, based on my experience, as he saw last year, I don't know that my resume is very impressive.
Well, and not to mention, you've told us about your issues coaching Little League over the years too.
That's true. That's true. I did have one of the worst Little
I mean,
League
I
teams
think
ever.
you were kind of a good player. Like, you acted like you weren't going to be good, and then I was pitching to you, and I was like, oh, he can totally play. Like, he's an athlete. He knows what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
But I think in terms of managing and, coaching them up, I didn't see a lot there. Like, I felt like you kind of just let people do what they're doing.
Well, right. But the reason that I didn't do a lot of managing or coaching is because I had Clinton Yates.
I don't know why it would be Clinton Yates.
And the big CY was very much our coach.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he had a stretching before the game.
By the way, did you guys hear Laura drop in Ramona there a second ago in between you and Ramona?
I don't know why it would be Clinton Yates.
I thought she said it again.
No, that
was Laura. I did too. That's very funny.
All right.
I was like, what's his claim here? Oh, yeah, he cared? Okay, I got it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So I have a quick question
I
here,
like
though,
the care factor.
to understand this, though. So George Sedano is at the Summer League in Vegas.
Yes.
On July 7th.
Yes.
So hot. Yeah.
Lindsay softball is going to be in Vegas going to see Garth Brooks.
Oh, you're not going to be at the softball game?
No, she's not going to be there.
No.
Oh, Lindsay.
Breaking news, people.
Yeah, she said that earlier. You must have missed it.
I missed it. Oh.
I don't know if I'm going to be there either. That's not a great day for me. I was going to go see my cousin that weekend. I was
You can
already
go on
like,
Saturday
I had
still.
to book the flight. I know, but he's running in this ultra marathon, and
she's booked
and,
in a
he
flight.
wants me to
But
be
you
there
can't
on
run
Saturday.
along with her in the ultra marathon.
Where's the ultra marathon at? Is it Badwater?
Okay, so it's in Bedford, Oregon.
Oh, okay.
And I was going to take the boys to go see him.
Yeah, it's
and
cool.
it's like a big thing for him. He goes and runs 100 miles and
Yeah.
stuff. So but I think he's probably going to be running all day. So maybe I could take a
Yeah,
Saturday.
you just
morning.
get there at the
I don't
end.
know.
Yeah, it's a 24-hour deal.
I don't know. I mean, it feels like a really long run. So
It's a
I mean, you're not like
24-hour
driving
deal.
alongside him for the 100 miles.
Yeah, you could just meet him at the end.
no, but I definitely want to be supportive. Like, I definitely do not want to miss that because I told him I would be there. So
No, that's cool, man.
Yeah, but
That's
there's
a-
flights. Look, there's a ton of flights to Portland, and then you can drive from there. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's Alaska's got like 10 a day. I'm not even joking.
But for him, it's like
got
a
you.
religious, potentially once in a lifetime kind of a deal.
No, I don't even think it's once in a lifetime. He does it like once a month.
He
he's
does.
like one of those.
He's one of those
Oh,
ultra
wow.
But I've
marathoners.
never
Yeah.
gotten to see him, and it just happens to be in. his
Go
own
next
time.
month.
Get next month.
Yeah, really. He does it every month. All right, so
So, what do
Bergie,
you wanna ask
listen,
about?
do you want me to stand down and not make a big deal out of this? Would
No,
that make your
Cap,
life
no.
easier?
It
No.
would make it easy, but I kind of like the fact that there's a little bit of a little drama. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So
Cap, fight for
if
your
you're in
spot.
for it,
Yeah.
I think you're starting to back off, though. This is
No,
kind of
it's like-
soft.
It's just it's soft.
Don't be soft, man.
It's soft, man. Listen, here's the reality of the situation. Okay?
I don't think you're soft, Cap. Don't do
Thank
it.
you.
I'm
Thank
not.
you.
I
Don't do
this.
it.
I think this is soft.
It
Here's
is
the-
a soft move. Don't do it, Cap.
Here's the reality. Last year, Mason and Ireland were show of the year. Mason got a team. Last year, I was host of the year. I got a team. This year, Sliwa, host of the year, he has a team. Me, I'm part of the show that is show of the year. I get a team. That's the way it should go. You are trying to pull this whole, he won last year, and let's
I mean,
face
he's
it.
the incumbent.
I want to say something. You have a terrible conflict of interest here. terrible conflict of interest for Gregory Bergman.
It has nothing to do with me being on the show.
By the way, I got to be honest, Cap. You had Kirk Morrison on your team who hit a home run every single time he was up.
Yeah, you blew it.
Win.
Yeah, but I
how many
also
runners?
had.
I mean, you had me pitching, and I was like meat out there.
Yeah.
And like you guys.
But I also had Sandoval in center field.
Sandoval fell over a freaking fence that was not even sturdy.
Believe me when I tell you one thing, George. As much as Kurt appreciates your defense of him, he has to look in the mirror every night. And every night when he stands there and he brushes his teeth.
All right, get Sandoval on.
He looks, and he says, I should have made that play. And it eats him up every day.
He'll be done at 6:30 with the 6:30 news. Get Sandoval on at 6:30. All right, Momo, real quick before we let you go.
With you, Cap, because I had a play like that in college that I still think about. It's like it was the College World Series. I was in right field, and this girl from UCLA hit a really high home run. And back then they had the breakaway fences out in Oklahoma City. And I still to this day believe that I could have caught it, but it was like at a weird angle and I jumped too early. And I'm like, still like it's like 23 years later.
Yeah, I understand.
Momo,
there are field goals I missed in college that today still eat me up.
Yeah, Momo, we have less than 2 minutes. Give us a 2-minute recap of what you wrote about Stan Kroenke.
So it was really fun in the Nuggets locker room because I don't know if he was drinking, but everyone else in there was spraying champagne and cigars and all that. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to go up and talk to Stan Kroenke right now because this is the right scene. And I said, when you won it with the Rams, Les Snead's line was like, F them picks, right? And this is the opposite here with the Nuggets. And he goes, yeah, well, Les and I would both agree you can only do F them picks for so long, and then you got to change it up. Right? He goes, he essentially said, with the Nuggets, obviously the story essentially is Josh Kroenke, who's his son, he's a former college basketball player. His first day on the job of running the Nuggets. So he had to take over the Nuggets when Stan Kroenke gets the Rams because you can't own basketball and football in different cities, right? So Josh takes over the Nuggets. He's 30 years old, and his first job is to fly to Baltimore and meet with Carmelo Anthony, who probably asked for a trade. And it's like, ooh, this first day on the job, that's a tough first assignment. But it taught him something, which is that you as a small market team in a city like Denver, they can't afford that kind of instability, and where a star can just totally change your franchise. And that was the summer of 2010. It's also the summer LeBron took his talents to South Beach, and so that was on everyone's mind. And I think when you look at the Nuggets, everything they've done since that point has been sort of anti-super team.
Mm-hmm.
Been build from within, build complementary pieces around them, and just have patience. This is a team that had patience. In a lot of ways, you look at them as this is what the Lakers would have been if they didn't trade for Anthony Davis, if they kept all those young guys, or if they didn't sign LeBron as a free agent. I mean, I'd be curious to see what that team would have turned into. I think they did the right thing in getting LeBron and AD. Right? They obviously won a championship. They went to the Western Conference Finals, but the Nuggets didn't have that luxury, and they were very patient throughout this. It's a long time to wait for players to come of age, but it's nice to see a team like that rewarded.
There it is. Check it out for yourself. Read it. Mason probably won't. It's probably too long, but nonetheless, you should. Long. Yeah, it's on Ramona's Twitter.
I mean, we got Michael Malone making D.H. Lawrence references. And
wow.
Stan Kroenke, I mean, he was talkative. He was chatty for Stan.
There you go.
Yeah.
And also whispering in Lisa Salter's ear. Nonetheless.
That was weird. It was very weird.
So funny.
Yeah.
Still very creepy.
Very, very funny.
Totally creepy.
Yeah. Momo, thank you for the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, boys. You got it.
See you. There she is. All right, Kirk Morrison wants to jump in on this conversation there, Cappy.
Good.
All right. So we're going to have Kirk Morrison on. Maybe we'll talk a little NFL with him, too. So all that coming up, and more shenanigans and more stupidity next.
LA Mornings. Cap, 6:15 p.m. in the Southland. You know what we do at 6:15. It is time for the producer Laura rejoin of the day. Take it away, producer Laura.
All right, so I picked this song, Dilemma, by Nelly and Kelly Rowland. Because I had a dilemma of my own. I don't know if I want to do a party or I want to go on a trip for my 35th birthday, but this whole situation with our own dilemma at the station is going to take precedence, so, we're going to figure out what Kirk has to say.
Yours is easy. Yours is real easy.
Is it? Not really.
Yeah, real easy. Real easy.
I've done a trip before, many trips for my birthday. But I haven't done a party in a long time, since I was like 16.
Okay, well then do a party.
Yeah, but then it's like the guest list, and how many people and all
Yeah.
that stuff.
Well, you know what you do? You just go somewhere and say, hey, this is where we're going to be. If you want to stop by, cool. If not, no worries.
You tell people I'm going to be where I'm at.
Right.
Okay.
That's the better move.
Okay.
That way you don't have to plan anything. You don't have to do guest lists. You just
And
tell
see,
people.
that's what I get like OCD when it comes to
Yeah,
those
yeah.
things.
Just, hey, I'm going to be at this spot. If you want to swing by, cool. If not, I get it. No big
Matter
deal.
of fact, you could do both. You could say, I'm going to be at this spot, so come on by and hang out with me. And then tomorrow I'm leaving for my trip.
All right,
Not a bad idea.
let's talk to Kirk Morrison here. Of course, all the Rams coverage, former Raider. All right, so Kirk Morrison. We have a bit of a conundrum when it comes to the softball event coming up on July 7th, which you hit a home run basically every time you were up, okay?
I got you.
So last year, obviously, Cappy and Mace were the captains. But this year, Greg Bergman believes that Alan Sliwa should be one of the captains for being host of the year, which everyone agrees on. Everyone's like, okay, cool.
I agree.
Sliwa should be one of the captains. The question is, who is the other captain? Is it Mason because his team won? Is it Cappy? Cappy says because our show won show of the year, and he should be the representative. What say you on who should be the captain opposing Alan Sliwa?
Why not John Ireland?
Well, John Ireland won't be there.
But why not?
Oh, see, I will bring back the beef.
That's a good idea.
That is a good idea.
Why is Ireland not going?
I don't know.
Is it just one of his things that he doesn't do?
Someone just text Bergman and ask him. Yeah, maybe.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right.
It's not in his contract,
Okay.
maybe. I don't know.
Team Sliwa.
I mean, does Mace
I
get a
would have
chance to
to
defend,
go-
Kirk? I mean, does Mace get a chance to defend, or should it be show of the year versus host of the year?
I think I'm gonna go with Mace.
Yeah.
Only because he can bring out Bryan Cranston to navigate, to announce everybody on the way out.
That's true. He
You know
could
what
do
I
that.
mean?
You can't do that, Cappy.
No, I don't have Bryan
Yeah,
Cranston's
I'm sorry,
number.
Cap.
That's all right.
Cap, did you lie? I mean, you were it was Team Cap last year.
I know,
Team
and I
Cap,
s-
no Cap. Remember
I know.
that?
And I screwed it up. I mean, I really did. I mean, I was my bad pitching. I acknowledge that, but I still got to say, Kurt Sandoval should have
Oh,
caught
for the
that
love
ball.
of God, with Kurt Sandoval, you made the man
know
try
it.
to dive over
Give me
a fake
break.
fence.
I mean, Kurt, would you have caught that ball?
I would have caught that ball.
Yeah,
I
see?
would have caught that ball.
Right.
But
A lesser athlete did
it was
not.
different Kurt in a different situation, man.
That's right.
But
By the way, Kirk Morrison, you were there at the Mandy's just the other night, and
I was.
you seem to be very impressed with all of our drip.
yeah, really drippy. As a group, I think we should also have the drip award. I think as a group collectively, you guys took it down. I mean, Lindsay, Laura, Cap. Cap only had 2 outfits. I thought you were gonna go to a third, Cap.
I went to a third.
Real
I went to a
surprised.
third for the after party. Went to a third.
Okay, see, yeah, okay. I didn't do the after party.
Mm-hmm.
But you were 2 outfits deep. George, nice tailored suit, man. Nice job, George.
Sure.
That now was that plum, burgundy, or wine or vino?
It was vino. And it was hot because it was also wool, which I didn't realize how hot it was going to be in there. So if I would have known that, I would not have gone with the wool in
And
that
the lack
scenario.
of hydration didn't help.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. So
No, but it was a good look though, man. Y'all, you guys rocked it. I think obviously Mason and Ireland rocked it, but I think as an overall, I think Bergman brought them down a bit. So in terms of the drip. He wasn't, Bergman was corporate Greg, and we needed him to be into the bit. He didn't bring it like I thought he should have.
Well, I mean, Travis and Sliwa were called on the red carpet show. They were called accountants.
Insurance salesmen.
No, Clinton very clearly called them accountants. They took insurance away from it. But when I heard it, I swear to you, I laughed out loud. You guys look like a couple of accountants.
Every show's personality stood out with what they wore. So I thought it fit everybody. Like I told you, man, I think the greatest thing for me was that I brought one of my buddies with me, and he is a huge ESPN LA fan. And he sat back, man. He said he had the greatest time just meeting everybody. Man, George is so cool. Oh, my God. Oh, Cap, he's hilarious. And Laura. And he was like, to see the faces or to finally put the voices with the face, unbelievable, man.
Yeah.
So he had a great time. And it was a really good show. Like, just being there, laughing at everybody. I mean, from the Kamenetskis to everybody. I know you guys already recapped it, but for me, it was nice, man. It was a good time.
And your boy was a cool guy. I hung out with him a little bit backstage, and got to chat with him for a little bit. So can we get back? So George, Kirk Morrison is pretty much telling us that he's going with Team Mace.
Right now, Cappy is also you're not the first to say that it should be Mace. So Cappy is now trying to convince Mace to be his manager and just let Mace be the GM. Do you think Cappy should there be a pitch for Cappy to Mace to be his manager?
Okay, to Cappy to be.
I mean, should me and Mace join forces?
Or you could join. You could ask Sliwa if you could be his manager. I mean, there's that too.
Yeah, I think you should join forces with Slee.
You see, now that's interesting right there. That's interesting. Is that maybe, George, Kirk has the right idea. Maybe I should yield to Slee and say, hey, I was host of the year. Now you're host of the year. You manage. I'll play for you, pal. I told you yesterday, Kirk, I told George yesterday, I'm a team guy, okay? Winning the Heisman Trophy but not the national championship doesn't do much for me. Winning host of the year last year without show of the year doesn't do much, but winning show of the year does a lot even without host of the year. Does that make sense to you?
You got me so confused on that last one.
That's why I asked if it made sense.
The national championship, man. You had me going, and then you lost me. But no, I get it, man. I honestly, like I said, Slee is the guy this year, right? So I think he's the manager, and then he needs a general manager. He needs a Les Snead.
You know what? I'll just be his quarterback. I'm happy to be his quarterback. I really am.
Yeah.
I'm happy to spread the word through the locker room that we listen to Slee.
Yeah. Now, it's funny because Beto came on and said that maybe Clinton Yates, because clearly he cares the most about playing in this event, although he may not be able to attend anyway. And Ramona had an interesting retort to that. Go ahead, Laura.
I don't know why it would be Clinton Yates.
So there's that. Now, real quick, since we have you on here, Kirk, we only got like 3 minutes here.
Yeah.
What do you think the Raiders are tanking?
No, not at all. Why would you say that?
Because this Garoppolo thing is not going to work. He's probably not. I mean, I just don't.
George thinks that the Raiders
are better served. The Raiders are better served tanking than playing Jimmy Garoppolo, being the worst quarterback in that division. Like they need Caleb in the worst way possible.
Right. He thinks they should go 0-17. Get the first pick in the draft, get the kid from USC,
They're going to be
and change their fortune
The Raiders are at best a 7-win team.
You know what? I'll agree with you on that. Even Vegas agrees. Vegas has it at 7.5. I have them right at 7, 8 if they're lucky. They got a stretch of games in which not going to be fun for them. I mean, there's a stretch for like week 11 through 16. They're playing against 5 consecutive playoff teams from a year ago. Like, that's the meat of their schedule. I get what you're saying, George. It may look as if they're a team that is not going to contend, but they're not tanking. Tanking is what the Arizona Cardinals are doing, okay? That's not what the Raiders are doing. So they're going to find a way to win some games. They'll be a fringe playoff team, but, again, it comes down to the division. Chargers and Justin Herbert. I mean, obviously you look at what Russell Wilson is my dark horse comeback player of the year because he looks mean. I mean, he looks lean and mean. Sean Payton's whipped him into shape. And now, look, I said this to you last night. Russell Wilson's probably the happiest person on earth that the Denver Nuggets won a championship.
Right.
Because everybody can forget about how bad he was last year and can focus on the new season ahead.
At least for a few months.
For a few months, yeah. A few months.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
What about the Rams? Like, I think the Rams can be sneaky decent, but I mean decent, be like maybe 500.
Yeah, well, we know they can't be. Either you're over 500 or under with 17 games now.
No, about 500. Like, I think they're I think they're somewhere between like 6 and 9 wins. I know that's a large swath of games, but I think that's their floor and that's their ceiling, 6 to 9.
Their schedule looks a lot easier just on paper than the Raiders' schedule we were just talking about.
Yeah, I have the Rams at right now. Currently, I put them at 8 wins.
Okay,
that to me is a successful season, a season in which they have to clear some things out. But they still have, I think, the talent. They got a nucleus of guys. Offensively, if they're going to be good, they're going to struggle defensively. But this is one of those situations where I get a chance to see Sean McVay go out there and coach. He doesn't have all the best players. He's got some guys here who's going to have to coach up. And as a team, they get to 8, 9 wins. That's a success. And in the NFL, it is hard to keep everybody together. So for them to kind of reset the books, they're going to reload, but it's going to take a year. So I'm not surprised if they don't get to 10, 11 wins. That's not what this season is about, but they have to be competitive, and they will be.
I can't wait to see where Caleb goes. Let me tell you something. I did a couple of his games last year on radio, and he is, from a pure talent perspective, just arm strength, mobility, he kind of can change speeds on you. It's weird. Different arm angles. He is the most talented quarterback I've ever seen at 19 years old in my life.
Yeah. You're Washington Commanders' next quarterback in 2024.
Not the Raiders quarterback, though.
Yeah, well, he's from D.C., so there you go.
He's from D.C. He's from the DMV. So trust me, you talk about the Raiders tanking. The Commanders really tanking, telling us that Sam Howell is the answer. Come on.
Yeah, seriously.
Hey, Kirk, are you committed to July 7th in the softball team?
You know what? Right now, I'm TBD.
Okay.
I mean, I was just told of it this week. I kind of, I have to go over it with the vice president of
the Handsome Man community.
Foundation.
Yeah. Of the foundation, not the Handsome Man community.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my wife, she's the vice president, or she actually is probably the president.
Yeah, she's like the CEO, I think.
So I'll see what she says, and then after we talk, we'll come to an agreement and see what happens. You know how these summer dates kind of get booked up quickly.
All right.
So right now,
well, listen, if you happen to be in Vegas and you want to see Victor Wembanyama, I'm your guy. I'll be there. So.
Oh yeah, Wemby watch.
Yeah.
Like he's invited to the green room to stay for how long? 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, just show up, take pictures, and then walk across.
No, Wemby's going to play. I think at least one game. He's going to play. He's going to play Friday because it's going to be him versus Scoot. That's the game to watch.
So he plays a couple minutes and then he's out.
Oh, I don't know about a couple minutes. I mean, Zion was going to play a lot, except he got hurt, of course, and that should have been a precursor to what we saw the rest of his career. But
Yeah, that's a whole different show.
I think he got hurt and then went to the buffet line.
Will you stop?
No, it's true.
All right. Kirk Morrison, excellent work as always. Hopefully you'll be able to attend. We'll find out soon, and we will be bugging you throughout the summer for training camp stuff. So we'll see you around.
Sounds good, fellas.
All right, brother. There you go.
All right, well, his vote is for Mason.
Yeah, Mason has chimed in, by the way. So we can get to that on the other side. Maybe we'll hear from Mason on the show. Big Deal or No Deal is also next.
Are you looking for more?
Who isn't?
Exactly. This is Brian Cranston, and I'm here with my pal Aaron Paul, and we discovered the more of what you're looking for.
It's Dos Hombres Mezcal, and let me first address you to
Big deal or no deal? Take it away, Sedano.
Thanks, Christopher. All right, Lindsay, before you take it away, let me read this from Mason. Kaplan can definitely be my manager. I'm Friedman. Cappy is Dave Roberts.
I take that as a compliment.
That means then you're on the hot seat, I think, Happy.
Nah, Dave is not on the hot seat.
I just got to find. I got to find
some Dodgers fans.
Well, yeah, but I got to find some arms. I got to find arms if I'm.
So
Dave
look at
Roberts.
that. Mace wants you to be part. Now we tried to call Mason, but Lindsay says he didn't pick up. But nonetheless, we have the text confirmation.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe you should call into their show tomorrow.
So the thought would be Sliwa gets one team, and Mason and I combine forces on the other team.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't know. I feel conflicted now because I kind of would like to, support Slee.
But you initially tried to sell yourself to Mason, so he's already committed to you. So now that's it. It's over. Like this is what happened. Slee was not available. So I mean, you're gonna back. I mean, if you try to flip flop on Mason, it's over.
What's over?
Like it's over between you and him.
He's trying to figure out who he should best align with to get the Taylor Swift tickets.
Come on, Copy.
No, I think I got a better chance with Mace.
That's true.
We know you do.
Yeah. So I think if you flip flop on Mace, it's over.
Yeah, maybe he will give me his tickets for the Rams games for Taylor Swift. I don't know. We'll talk about it.
His Rams seats, you mean?
Yeah. What'd I say?
Oh.
You said tickets for the Rams game.
Yeah.
Taylor Swift.
That was weird.
Rams seats for the. Yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you can't backtrack on him now. He will hold that against you forever.
Well, I don't want to grudge. That I can assure you.
So there you go. So you are now the manager of Team Mace.
Okay. All right.
That's it. We've settled it. We've got confirmation from the man himself.
Well, you can imagine Bergie, too. He's probably like, oh, my God. I got to deal with these two now.
Yeah,
I gotta
on the same side.
I got to tell Mason that, he should be the manager. Kaplan thinks he should be the manager.
No,
Neither of these guys
but it's settled.
No, right. We worked it out like grown-ups.
Yeah.
But I'm saying the anxiety that the kid was feeling.
Oh.
I gotta, these two guys are going to fight over who should get it. No one's going to want to back down.
Yeah, Slee has Lakers talk, so I mean, we can always.
Oh, we
just
can bring in
ask,
Slee in the next segment after Dealer's Choice.
All right, very
and
good.
let him know that you will be managing against him.
But let him know that I was very willing to play for him.
Right. I mean, not very willing.
Not
I kind of
really.
brought it up at the last second, and then you were like, oh, maybe, yeah.
No, I play for him. Team guy.
Yeah. But you want it to be the manager because you want to have importance in the game.
I guess.
If you're just a player, maybe you're important, maybe you're not.
I should just be a player. Just focus on playing. Bring my talents.
So now you're not
going
to work
field.
with Mason?
I mean, that's not a lot of talent. You got hurt just practicing.
You know what? I'm an available free agent right now.
Oh, my God.
I'm an available free agent. Coming off injury, but an available free agent.
That was my Pepe Mantilla impersonation.
I know. We've both been doing You did a
Let me
better
tell
job.
you, I'm going to text him that Mason right now in this group chat that you're backtracking on him.
Okay, you let him know.
Okay.
You let him know that.
Cappy may be backtracking.
What's the reasoning, Cap?
There's really no reasoning. I'm just saying I'm willing to play for Sliwa.
But you're not willing to play for Mace?
No, I'm willing to play for Mace.
Okay.
Get
You're
it
just kind of
together,
playing.
I'm willing to.
for
I'm willing to
whoever.
just be a ball player. You know what I mean? That's probably the most value that I can add to the team, whichever team I play
It sounds
for.
like you are trying to release any responsibility of managing a team after hearing from everybody.
Well, yeah, you know,
There-
you might be
there's that.
right on that, Lindsay. Maybe I just don't need the aggravation. You know what I mean?
Or
Yeah,
do
if
you
you
just
don't-
want someone to fight
But you
over you?
love being involved with all that stuff.
I can still be involved. Me and Mace can sing the national anthem together.
It's not the same.
My OBP is really, really high, so I'll be out there and involved at all times.
Yeah, you're double crossing Mace now.
Is that what this is?
Yeah.
Really? I didn't realize this was double crossing.
This is a big deal.
Yeah, I
guess
text
so.
him. All right, big deal on this. Go ahead, Lindsay.
Don't bet against the fat boy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the fat boy is in the situation, but I just wanted to play it.
Could be either.
All right, so it may have been over 50 years since the Beatles broke up, but the world's most iconic group is set to release its final record with the assistance of artificial intelligence, Paul McCartney announced today. McCartney confirmed that the final Beatles record will release later this year in 2023, and it's going to use AI to capture the voice of the late John Lennon from a prior recording. The name of the track has not yet been confirmed, but it will be the group's first release of original material since 1995 and the 1996 releases of Free as a Bird and Real Love. Is a new Beatles track using AI to replicate John Lennon's voice a big deal or no deal, George?
I mean, I'm sure it's a big deal because it's the Beatles. But I mean, I'm not the biggest Beatles guy. Like, I like some of their songs, and I know there's the Beatles breakfast every weekend on the classic rock station here. But and that I like to listen to because it's usually the songs I know. But yeah, I mean, listen, we're talking about one of the more iconic bands in history. So if they're going to redo that with AI, I think people are going to either be excited or really upset about it. So there's going to be a polarization regardless.
I think it's pretty lame myself.
Why?
It's creepy.
I just feel like, when we talk about music, we talk about like the lyrics and singing, like you need to be in a studio and you need to lay that down versus having AI listen and then replicate your voice. So it's not really John Lennon. It's just AI giving you John Lennon's voice.
Did you hear Mason Island the other day when they did a AI version of Frank Sinatra? It sounded pretty much like Frank Sinatra.
That one is actually really funny because he was singing like some rap song. And it was like 50 Cent, I think.
Yeah.
So it was a Lil Jon, that's what it was. Yes, he was singing like Get Low, I think. So it did sound exactly like him.
To the windows, to the wall, to the sweat come down my...
It was really funny. So I was just telling Laura, I saw something on TikTok earlier today. You can't tell the difference.
To the wall.
You can't tell the difference at all.
To the sweat come down my...
It's weird. Like I heard the Selena one, and I'm like, oh, no, that's cringy.
That's why this whole Beatles thing.
Well, it'll be polarizing. Hence, like the conversation just now.
I mean,
Here, listen.
Be like,
listen,
right,
Cappy, have you listened to Frank Sinatra one? Here, we're going to listen to it.
To the window, to the wall, until the sweat drops down my...
Just make sure.
All you from, oh, skeet, got...
Oh, skeet is actually funny.
It's funny, but it's weird. Come on. It's cringy.
It did sound like him.
But
though.
if you said to me, hey, that is Frank Sinatra, I'd be like, yeah, okay, sounds just like him.
Right. That's Frank Sinatra singing Little John and the East Side Boys.
I do not like... Listen, can you imagine if you all of a sudden told me there was a new Michael Jackson album coming out? 12 new tracks. Michael
it's gonna
Jackson.
Happen.
All AI.
So weird.
These were all songs that were written before Michael Jackson died. He recorded them. They weren't like mass-produced, blah, blah, blah. We put it into AI. This is the new Michael Jackson hit. I don't like it.
But that's how a lot of music is created anyway. Like a lot of it is, mastered and souped up with these
people
tools.
Who are alive and sung stuff.
Well, I don't think that it's that big of a deal because I feel like this is going to be the future. Like this is how they're going to do things. They're going to do all kinds of stuff like this. Frank Sinatra, I hope that they release a whole Frank Sinatra album and that his family gets all the royalties and stuff. I don't know.
You know what they're going to do one day? They're going to have AI and they're going to say this to AI. Give us 12
We talking about
minutes.
practice?
I don't think we're going to talk about practice. No, that's not what I was going to say.
Oh, different AI.
Different AI. Yeah, completely different AI.
Oh.
They're going... Very good, George. They're going to one day say to AI, I need a 12-minute conversation about who the next Lakers point guard should be with two different voices. And there's going to be an AI Sedano and an AI Cap, and they're going to spend 12 minutes talking about who the Lakers point guard should be, and then they're going to actually break on time, and then they're going to come back and talk about something else. Who should be the Raiders quarterback? And they're not going to need us either.
There goes our jobs, guys.
I mean, yeah, look at writing. You don't really need writers anymore. A lot of the people that are writing for these publications are like influencers and bloggers and TikTokers and social media people where there's not as much journalism. I mean, look at The Athletic. Remember when The Athletic came out? They were heralded as being like something new and different to challenge the newspapers and steal their writers. And guess what? They were bought by a newspaper and just laid off a whole bunch of writers yesterday.
Yeah.
Voiceover artists, too. They're getting upset because this is taking over their jobs and people are mimicking their voices and they can't get paid for it. It sucks.
It sucks, but there's not. I mean, unless we fight the robots, there's. I feel like there's a good divide of people who are like supportive of it, and then the other half who's like, I don't know about this. I don't know. I feel like they're going to take over the world. Obviously, we got to be careful, but by the time like that happens, it's going to be too late.
We gonna be gone.
Yeah, I feel like it's already too late. It's going to happen.
Well,
I think when we have cars that drive without drivers, I think we're in some trouble.
We do have that.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
There's a really funny video of this girl who's probably like, in her mid-20s, late 20s, and she orders an Uber for her grandpa and his buddy, and they go to get in it, and they're like, but Marie, there's no one driving this car. And she's like, don't worry, it's okay. Because it's one of those like pilot programs in like San Francisco where they have the driverless cars. And they're like, I don't know about this. I got to get out of here. And it's hilarious because these grandpas are like,
I love
freaking
Lindsay's
out.
impersonation voices. They're always pretty funny, I got to be honest.
It's a really funny video. I'll send it to you guys. Anyway, I'll do one more big deal or no deal here. So young professionals entering the workplace are puzzled by the seemingly endless dictionary of workplace jargon thrown at them. I can attest to this. New research released found that 48% of Gen Z and millennials are feeling left out at work because of the use of workplace jargon like ducks in a row and low-hanging fruit. Some 60% of Gen Z and millennials said that the jargon was like a different language, and as a result, almost half said that they had made a mistake at work because they didn't understand a phrase. Is this a big deal or no deal, Cappy?
It's cracking me up because the people who use the phrases low-hanging fruit, or what was the other one that you gave us?
Ducks in a row.
Right. I got to get all my ducks in a row. You imagine saying to a kid today who's 22 years old and fresh out of college, yo, man, I got to get my ducks in a row. For real. I mean, I think what we should do is we should go after the low-hanging fruit. My man has no idea what you're talking about. And by the same token, if you ask these kids to do something for you and they spoke the language, you'd be like, I don't know what this kid's talking about because I don't know what this word means. So, yeah, there's a language generational gap issue, and I could see it being hilarious.
You just gave me a great idea, Cappy, for a segment.
Let me hear.
So next time you're here in studio, let's get one of the interns in and go through some of these phrases and ask them. Because they're all like 19, 20, 21, They're all very young kids. Ask them things like, what does it mean when somebody says, can I pick your brain for a second? That one's an obvious one.
No, but what does low-hanging fruit mean?
It means like the easy, obvious thing.
Yeah, so let's ask these
you're
kids.
right. Yeah, we should get a list of these workplace jargon phrases and quiz them on it. That's
little
it. That would be
jargon.
fun.
Let's have some
Jargon.
Yeah.
Jargon. Take me away.
Like, let's take this offline.
George's like, yeah, I got that.
I'm the only one.
Right.
All right, that is Big Deal or No Deal each and every day, brought to you around 6:30 at Jason. All right, coming up next, Dealer's Choice. And and then we'll talk to Slee.
Slee going to stop by? Is he good?
Is he good?
Yeah, he's good. I'll text him.
All right.
All right.
So we'll have that coming up. But first, let me tell you about my friends at LAX, my second home, as you know. I'll be headed there soon for Summer League at Los Angeles International Airport. Changes arriving daily to help transform the travel experience. The LAX economy parking structure is now open with thousands of smart parking spaces, guys. You can get your parking done in and out. You get a little QR code. You can pay for it beforehand. It's so much easier, man. As well as hundreds of EV charging stations, which I use. Modernized terminals have biometric gates for faster boarding. Yep. Who doesn't want to get to their trip faster? I certainly do. I'm sure you do, too. A new facility will have all major rental car brands under one roof, so when family and friends come to town, one bus, one place, that's it. Not a bunch of different buses to a bunch of different places. And soon, forget about a car, because the People Mover train will connect travelers to LA Metro. Get that People Mover train, as it'll be here sooner than you think. For more information about all of LAX's transformations, go to their website, flylax.com/transforminglax. So for more about LAX's transformation, go to their website, as I mentioned, flylax.com/transforminglax. That's flylax.com/transforminglax.
On 710 ESPN.
Oh, look at that. A little ballad for you.
Nice.
Today in history, where's this one? Let me see. Oh, it's Atlantic Star, of course. 1987, #1 hit. Always. Cappy, what were you doing in 1987?
Well, I can tell you this. I could definitely not come up with this group, but I know this song well because, George, in 1987, as a 17-year-old kid, man, I'm just looking to, touch a girl.
Oh, God.
Whoa.
Oh, always, man. Always.
Hi, will you let me touch you in some
What
way,
a fortunate
please?
moment we find ourselves in.
Yeah.
Cap, why?
Well, 'cause
no,
that's
on the
what
real,
most-
though.
What most 17-year-old boys are thinking about.
Okay, but you could have put it in so many other ways that didn't sound creepy as AF and, a little... I don't even want to say the word, but it was bad.
Eres un puerco.
It is true, though.
Big puerco.
We.
So anyhow, what do you got for dealer's choice?
Wait a second. What happened to Sliwa?
He's going to join us in a second. I thought you had a dealer's choice first.
I do have a dealer's choice, something I'd like to chat about, as a matter of fact. So yesterday, you come on the radio here, and you tell us about Pat Sajak leaving the Wheel of Fortune.
Right.
You then openly campaign for the job.
I said, hey, I would take that job and leave you in a second.
Yeah. I'm not offended by that, but I thought about it last night. I actually gave this a little bit of consideration.
Yeah.
I haven't watched the Wheel of Fortune in a really, really, really long time.
Yeah.
And my understanding is that when you're a host of a game show, they kind of do it all in a day or two.
Yeah, you got 2 days, you do 10 shows a day.
Right. So Steve Harvey, he comes out and he's like, I got the Sedano family and I got the Kaplan family. And then whoever wins stays on. Steve Harvey goes in the back. He changes his suit. He comes back out. The Kaplan family, we won. We're sticking around. We still got the same clothes on.
Yeah.
So it's a giveaway if you're going to watch, multiple episodes.
Right.
I got to figure that hosting the Wheel of Fortune is like a $10 million a year job.
Oh, easily.
And it's not a lot of work because they tape once or twice a month.
Right. So that's what I'm getting at. So on one hand, I can't really blame you. If you love the Wheel of Fortune as a game show and Pat Sajak is walking away and you can make that kind of money with that, that's like joining the Live Tour. You play 3 rounds, you wear shorts, you take a cart, they fly you around, you don't pay for anything. It's an easy gig playing on the Live Tour.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to go to Seacrest.
Wait,
unfortunately for me, great for him.
The Wheel of Fortune is going to be taken over by Ryan Seacrest?
Yeah, that's the hot rumor.
Maybe you can take over for him eventually.
Yeah,
What
I don't
does he
see
do?
that. Yeah.
Dude, he owns everything.
That guy has so much money. Why does he even need to work anymore? He has so many productions and shows and executive producer credits.
Yeah. Good for him.
It
Not so good for me.
Surprises me that Ryan Seacrest would want to be the host of the Wheel of Fortune.
Doesn't to me.
It's 2 days a month, to Lindsay's point.
I know, but I guess I don't realize that the Wheel of Fortune's even on anymore.
Oh, dude, it's on every ABC affiliate in America.
And
I
plus,
know, but I haven't seen it in years.
That's the thing, though, Cappy. They're probably thinking, oh, he can bring a younger audience back to this. I
don't know. What time is Wheel of Fortune on?
7:30, I think. Yeah, 7:30.
Yeah, but
7:30 here in LA. I don't know about
Jeopardy,
South LA.
All right, listen, not going to lie, George. If you told me you were leaving me for the Wheel of Fortune, I couldn't really stand in the way. It's a lot of money. Apparently, there's still a lot of people that watch it. It's a very little amount of work. And I'll tell you, man, I won't be offended. I really won't.
Good. I'm glad that's the case, but I'm not getting it anyway. It's going to be Seacrest out.
Do you think you came in second?
No, I'm not even on the list.
You're not, huh?
Clearly the list, it happened quick. There was already a front runner when the story broke. So there you have
Pretty
it.
funny.
It's usually how it works, huh? Like when they're like,
Yeah.
there's a job opening, but they only do it because they.
Yeah, I mean,
legally
somebody
have to.
knew in the background that Sajak had probably talked to
Right,
the people. And
yeah.
then that was it.
Do you think that they have to post the job online before they hire?
No,
the
I don't
next
think
host?
so.
You don't think
Yeah,
so?
I don't.
You
I
think
don't.
Everybody's
think so.
got to have a chance.
I don't think so. Although someone told me that on the Sliwa show, someone was campaigning for me to be taken over for Pat. So I appreciate that. Is that the case today on Travis and Sliwa, Alan? Is that true?
Yeah, you had some. So Trav and M thought you'd be perfect for the gig.
It would be a gig that I would definitely leave Cappy for in less than 2 seconds.
But what happens if all of a sudden somebody goes to answer something that seems obvious to all of us, and that person gets it wrong? Is George going to lose his mind and start yelling and screaming at that
No,
person?
on the contrary, I'll just start laughing.
You moron, you idiot. You don't know what
Well,
the
no,
hell
I-
you're
I mean,
doing.
listen,
you should have bought a vowel. Don't you know that C's not a vowel, you freaking idiot?
No, I only do that to you, Cappy.
Yeah, I
George.
know. Well, that's what I'm saying. You got to be
I
careful.
mean, you've seen George Sedano behind a desk on a television show before on ESPN. There's a different George Sedano there as opposed to the one that deals with you.
So they thought you'd be good for it because, and I haven't. I don't know if I'm the right person. I literally the only shows I probably watched growing up. Price is Right, watched all the time.
Oh, I loved it. Yeah.
Family Feud, I still actually
Love
kind of
Family
watch.
Feud. Love Family Feud. Still watch it.
That
I
always
watch it.
comes up. But they thought, George, that you were kind of the perfect balance of if somebody does something stupid, a quick little one-liner, but
Yeah.
you can go kind of back to it,
Yeah.
not make them feel too dumb. So you're getting some praise this morning.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I do feel like I would be good at that job. Unless Cappy showed up to spin the wheel, and then, be different.
Well, I mean, I had suggested that I would be willing to turn the letters because, believe it or not, I think Vanna makes a fortune also.
Yeah.
And I've been, doing some Buns of Steel videos recently.
There you
I
go.
think I think I look really good.
All right. Well, speaking of being an ass, you have apparently caused already all sorts of problems here, which shouldn't be a shock. So let's talk to Sliwa
Who
about
has?
this.
Who has?
You.
Oh, no. This is a Bergman disaster.
Yeah.
This has nothing to do with me.
Okay, real quick, because Sliwa's got to get to Lakers talk here. All right, so Slee, Bergman came in and said that you should be one of the managers at the softball because you're the host of the year. And then the question became, well, who's going to manage against Slee?
Yep.
Is it going to be Mason or Cappy? And it looks like it's going to be Mason. Most people we've had on said it should be Mason and not Cappy. Then Cappy was like, well, then I could be Mason's manager. To which Mason then sent a group text saying, I'd absolutely love Cappy to be my manager. I'll be the Andrew Friedman. He can be my Dave Roberts. And then when we had Kirk Morrison on, we were debating this stuff with him. And I said, I flippantly said, well, you could always, I guess, manage for Slee because we hadn't heard from Mason yet. And he's like, yeah, I'd manage for Slee or work with Slee too. So, number one, we don't know if you would even want Cappy. Let's start with that part of the equation. I just threw it out there for the sake of throwing it out there. But then after I threw it out there, Mason had committed to saying Cappy would be his manager. And now I've texted Mason that Cappy's trying to double-cross him without even your commitment yet.
Okay, Cap.
Do you
so
see how bored George is now that the basketball season is over? That he has to entertain himself by trying to create a controversy that doesn't really exist.
This is what I do best outside of basketball: is create a bleep storm.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But I this particular bleep storm about I'm double crossing Mason, this one you just pulled completely right out of your what.
I mean, you double crossed him.
No double crossing. Yeah.
Cap, here's what I'm hoping.
Yeah, you just make things up.
I'm hoping, Cap.
Yeah.
We had it was we had a rough go last year, right? Our squad was right there. We thought we were in position. All of a sudden, they're drawing walks on the other side. That was a little interesting. I didn't know you could walk in softball, but we lost.
They were the gutless ones. I mean, you talk about gutless.
So
interns show up and don't swing the bat.
So I think, what would be great is we kind of run it back and we try to go get that W that we didn't get last year.
Oh, so Sliwa wants you, Cappy.
See, Slee, what I was saying was I would very happily play for you. In other words, last year you played for me. This year, you're host of the year. I'd very, very happily play for you. But you see, the combining forces with Mason was a question of, because you know Bergman. Bergman is like, I think it should be Mason, but then Scott's going to be upset. But Kaplan might have a point, and then Mason's going to be upset. So he was trying to play Switzerland in all of this. You see what I'm saying?
I'm just trying to – I figure since we lost last year, to get a chance to roll up our sleeves and try to get a W this year.
Wow,
That's
there
all
you
I'm
go.
thinking
All
in my
right, so
mind.
Slee, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Slee on the spot before Lakers talk. Would you take Cappy as part of your team, and in what role? Cappy, would Cappy be a player? Would Cappy be your manager to your general manager? How would this work?
1,000% would take Cappy. And Cap, I think, listen, the way you were on the problem with you on the mound last year is you didn't have any help. Everything was on you, and you got hit in the, what was it, the thigh or the calf?
Shin. The shin.
The
That's
shin.
right. I was injured. I came in injured.
You came in injured, so 1,000% take Cappy. And as far as a role goes, Cap, what do you want to play? I mean, you tell me where you want to go.
You know what? I really think here's what I would do. I would say to Kurt Sandoval, you mind if I play center field?
Wow, look at you still taking shots at Sandoval.
Rude.
Man's an icon.
Cap, go get center field. We'll put Kurt in right, put him in left. We can put him.
I'm ready to play.
Come on, Cappy.
Yeah.
Today.
All right, so here's the deal. This is the deal. Cappy, do you agree to play with Sliwa then? Since Sliwa has offered now?
George, this negotiation is not over, in my opinion.
This is what I'm talking about with you.
I'm definitely leaning towards
leaning.
playing for Slee.
So now you're trying to double cross both of them at the same time.
I'm looking for the best offer, George.
He wants a fight, George.
Cap. Offer's good till Friday. After that, we're finding a new center field.
Wow, COB.
See, I like that.
COB on
That's
Friday.
Good. That's very, very good.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll deal with more of this tomorrow. I would imagine. Slee, have a great Lakers talk show,
guys.
pal.
Appreciate it.
There he is. Alan Sliwa, Lakers talk is next. Cappy, great work, except for all those double crosses. Excellent work, Lindsay and Lauda. Thank you, Christopher, for your help today. I don't know how much of it there was, but nonetheless. Bergman for chiming in, Ramona, Kirk Morrison, and Beto for stopping by. Funchy has got the controls for Lakers talk. Sliwa's coming your way in a few minutes.
I don't know why it would be Clint Gates.